Translation.
We are ready.
I don't know if I can. We must have markers here somewhere.
I already asked, they told me they didn't find any for this morning.
Yeah, but somebody upstairs, maybe one of them. Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I don't know if we're arriving still at a good time or symbolically late.
We are just actually about to start.
Or like two. I want to ask about markers upstairs.
And just because I quickly saw the country español.
¿Sí?
Perfecto.
Sí, póngase cómodo, que.
Yo, según yo, lo que quise entender es de que iba a haber una ceremonia. Pero no sé si ya estoy hasta alucinando o no.
No, pero bueno, es que para el consejo tradicional todo es ceremonia.
Claro, bueno, pero también, sí, o sea, pero sí, es un workshop porque decía, no, entonces, ¿qué onda con su niña? Eso es,
Eso,
no,
cáñamo. Cáñamo.
pero es una ofrenda que va a haber, sí, pero,
No,
no,
zapoteca.
ah, Oaxaca.
Okay, no recent markers.
Porque mi abuelita era de
Can't find any markers at all. So, you know what?
No, pero la raíz, el
I
DNA.
think we're gonna draw on this, on the back of this. Yeah.
Claro. Pero, digo, no sé la cuestión del DNA, o sea, ¿por qué no naciste en porque no, o sea, todo, si uno cree que la vida no tiene algún tipo de sentido, ya sea sagrado o no, pues no, aparte de eso. Y curiosamente, va a pasar luego un personaje con el que yo crecí.
Okay,
Y
so,
estaba las zonas acústicas porque le nuestro.
I'll just.
Las ciudades del
Okay, are we ready?
Yes.
Yeah, always ready for a few minutes.
Where's my drum?
Bueno, te dejo, pero empecemos. Mucho gusto. Muy buena onda. Excuse me, may I take a quick photo?
Yeah,
Just to
sure.
share that some people.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No.
Okay, we're ready to go then, everything is good?
Est-ce que tout le monde est prêt pour commencer?
Yes.
So, أنا قاعد يوهي كجوك وأصوره وسيو سنار كزيد دان زريو. Okay, let's do
No,
it.
it's okay. Now go this way.
Gazit Danzario, Yujetska, Winuji, and Tajets going to start on Antaroni. Retrura, Dugurunga Garia Gesmu, Yeti Sota as a Tonka Garakwa, Yetin is Stanzi, one take on a regular split. I don't know what the sour year and it. Kunton had got was sitting on Wago. Okay, so I give a very brief opening in my language, and what I identify is first thing I say is I identify myself. I am Petit Danzerio. This is the name that my mother has given me, and when she was alive in this world, she carried the sacred title of Wolf Clan Mother into the world. And so, I am a Wolf Clan, because the Ganyangahaga, what you know as Mohawk, are a matrilineal people. So we follow our mother's identity. So I am Mohawk, I get my Wolf Clan, I get my Wolf Clan from my mother. And this is the path that I follow in my life. I follow the great law.
Donc, j'ai fait une petite tour dans ma langue, le Ganyangaha. Je suis de la nation Ganyangaha, ce que le monde connaît comme Mohawk. Donc, je m'introduis. Mon nom est Gadzi Danzario. C'est le nom que ma mère m'a donné quand elle était vivante. Elle portait le titre sacré de femme chef, mère de clan Zulu. Et comme on est une société matrilinéaire, moi aussi je suis du clan Zulu. C'est la mère qui passe la lignée.
So before we ever get started doing anything of importance, council, ceremony, meeting, we always have to carry out Mahondagari Wadekwa first. This is the words that come before all else, and this is where I identified that we always begin by giving our thanks to the great spiral of creation, that when you look up into the nighttime sky, you're in space the way that non-native science would lead you to believe. No, instead, you are looking into the living, vibrant body of our great mother. And so we give thanks to her, to Sky Woman, as it is she who has given us spirit.
Et donc, on commence le Ohanda Gariwadeka, ça veut dire le mot de remerciement de tous ceux qui étaient là avant nous et qui nous a donné la vie et qui continuent à nous donner la vie. Donc, on commence par nos origines. Quand on regarde la nuit, le ciel étoilé, complètement brillant, on n'observe pas encore vide et sans vie comme on nous a appris dans la science moderne. On observe plutôt encore vivant, vibrant, qui est la femme ciel. C'est elle qui nous donne notre esprit et l'esprit de tout ce qui est créé dans l'univers qu'on voit ou est-ce qu'on ne connaît même pas.
From there, we give our thanks to the beating heart of our Mother Earth, to Grandma Moon. It's she who regulates the flow of the lifeblood in all things, and so we give thanks to her, to Grandma Moon, as it is she who has given us blood.
Et après, nous remercions le cœur palpitant de notre mère Terre, qui est notre grand-maman Lune. C'est elle qui nous a donné nos os, qui nous les régule. Donc, nous la remercions pour notre sang.
From there, we give our thanks to our Mother Earth, regardless of what color you are, what language you speak, where you've grown up from our Mother Earth, or what you imagine divides us, which is the worst thing in the world because it causes people to be at war with each other. It's like having the right hand be at war trying to kill the left hand on the same body. And so we give thanks to our Mother Earth that regardless of all these things, whatever, where you come from and all of this, we all come from the same mother, making us all one family, sisters, brothers, all relations, all together. And so we give thanks to her, to Mother Earth, as it is she who has given us bodies.
Et après, nous remercions notre maman Terre, qui est notre maman à nous toutes et tous, peu importe de quelle couleur, race, division nous voulons croire que nous venons. En fait, c'est ça le pire, les divisions, quand on veut croire que la main gauche va se chicaner avec la main droite pour voir qui est le plus puissant, mais ça n'a aucun sens. Donc, nous nous rappelons que c'est elle qui nous a donné nos corps et les corps de tout ce qui est vivant, et ce qui nous fait partie d'une famille pas seulement humaine, mais du vivant.
From there, we give our thanks to all the women, from the newest born baby girl to the eldest grandmother, as we carry the sacred title of life giver into the world and are to be honored and respected as such. We give thanks to you, for in this world, you give us, the men, purpose and direction.
Et après, nous remercions toutes les donneuses de vie, de la plus petite nouvelle-née jusqu'à la plus aînée des grandes-mamans, parce que ce sont elles les mères de nos nations qui nous donnent le but et la direction du monde.
So, since we're here today to talk about our Mother Earth, talk about healing her, from there we give our thanks to all the medicines, to all the waters, and all the shapes and forms they come in. And this is to remind ourselves that you are made of 100% water. So you are medicine to your mother. She is medicine to you. You are medicine to your grandparents. They are medicine to us. We're medicine to each other. And if we don't acknowledge this and get control of our own medicine and apply it properly in the world, then something else is co-opting our medicine, misusing it. And this is today is identified in the form of taxation.
Et puisqu'aujourd'hui on est là pour parler de comment soigner notre mère Terre, nous nous rappelons que nous sommes des médecines les uns pour les autres, que nous venons aussi de l'eau, nous sommes faits à 100% d'eau. Donc tout est une bonne médecine, nous sommes des bonnes médecines pour nos mères, nos pères, nos maris, nos sœurs, nos enfants, nos familles. Et nous devons nous rappeler que nous sommes cette bonne médecine-là pour qu'on puisse vraiment la mettre en bon état dans le monde. Sinon, à ce moment-là, il va y avoir quelque chose d'autre qui est comme en train de coopter cette médecine, puis ça ne va pas être bon.
And just for anybody who's been with us in the past or knows me, I apologize for my attire. We had a wardrobe mix-up.
Et si vous me connaissez du passé, vous savez comment que je d'habitude, aujourd'hui, il y a un mélange dans les placards, mes habits traditionnels, donc une excuse d'avance de ça.
So I'm stuck wearing my disco shirt from last night.
Donc là, je suis obligée de porter ma chemise de party hier soir.
Not a party, disco.
Ah, on ne fait pas de party avec le disco.
Difference. Okay, anyway, so my people, over 2,000 years ago, had pulled our heads out of the dark ages of war and stopped warring. And the men were able to climb up the evolutionary ladder and join the women, where they were waiting for us. They couldn't evolve without us. And you know, us men, we cannot evolve without the women. But the men are corrupted and we're waging war. And so the men came out of it, and we were able to walk together with the women in the sunlight and to come into the great peace. And for over 2,000 years now, all the people of Turtle Island, north and south, have been living great peace. For 1,500 years, we lived under matrilineal authority, the authority of our mothers when they got here. And then when they got here, as you know, chaos ensued like it does everywhere on earth where you are.
Donc, dans ce territoire, moi, je viens de la nation Kanyangahaga, et il y a 2200 ans, les 5 nations de ce qu'on connaît comme la Confédération des 5 nations se sont rassemblées pour établir la paix. Avant ça, on s'entretuait, on était en guerre, mais pour rattraper les femmes dans leur siège d'autorité qui leur correspond, ce sont elles qui nous créent, qui nous guident, donc on les a établies dans son autorité. Et on a vécu comme ça, en paix, dans cet hémisphère qui est la l'île de la Tortue pendant 1500 ans, jusqu'au temps que la colonisation arrive, puis ben là, vous savez c'est quoi qui s'est passé après.
So we are here today to talk our mother earth through the magical power into that, to have our minds all focused on the same thing so that we're all on the same level of playing field with each other.
Et donc, on est ici aujourd'hui pour parler de comment que le chanvre est vraiment une médecine magique pour notre maman Terre. Mais avant de se rendre à ça direct, là, on va faire comme un préambule pour que nos esprits soient en même niveau, qu'on soit en même camp de jeu.
This is our hemp seeds that we give away for free to anybody on earth who wants it. We've been sending for the last 3 years hemp seeds around the world to people who are willing to work together to heal Mother Earth.
Ça, c'est nos graines de chanvre qu'on donne gratuitement à n'importe qui en veut. On les envoie même par la poste à des gens qui sont prêts à les planter. Ils sont.
And from a seed, well, some of them have been known to grow up to 24 feet tall. It's like a tree almost.
Et d'une petite graine, là, il peut y avoir des plantes qui vont pousser 24 pieds de haut. Donc, c'est vraiment comme un arbre quasiment.
And from the hemp, as I just touched on it slightly, about for 1,500 years we lived in peace, and then the non-natives showed up. Well, who showed up here were pirates on pirate ships, and how they got here was with sails made of hemp fiber.
Et ben, on a parlé de la colonisation et comment que les colonisateurs se sont rendus ici. Ben, c'était avec des bateaux, et c'était quoi leur poêle? Ben, fait à partir de chanvre, justement.
Their robes were made of hemp. A lot of the tools, their clothing, it was all hemp-based.
Et leur corps, leurs vêtements, il y avait plein de matériel qui était à partir du chanvre.
Sorry, I forgot. I brought my father's necklace today. I wanted to wear it.
Je m'excuse, j'ai oublié que j'ai apporté le collier de mon père et je voulais absolument le porter aujourd'hui.
Because we're dealing with medicine.
Parce que lui était du clan de la médecine et on parle aujourd'hui de la médecine, justement. Je l'ai mis à l'envers.
So their clan, I don't know if you just said that, was medicine clan.
Le clan de l'ours, parce qu'on en a trois, là, et l'ours est le clan de la médecine.
I was very fortunate. This is the combination that I have. My father is the medicine clan and my mother is the wolf clan, or HempUnitiy, those that lead the way.
J'étais assez fortunée dans la vie d'avoir mon père qui est du clan de l'ours, de la médecine, et ma mère du clan du loup, HempUnitiy, et celles et ceux qui dirigent le chemin.
Wolf clan and bear clan. You've heard of these animals, wolves and bears.
Et quand on parle du clan de l'ours et du clan du loup, et vous savez c'est quoi, hein, un ours, un loup?
But You don't know them the way that I know them.
Mais est-ce que vous les connaissez de la façon dont je le connais, moi?
We know in this world there is a sacred tree. In your religions and stuff like that, you refer to it, even your science identifies the tree. For us, we identify what you know as protons, neutrons, and electrons. We identify as turtle, wolf, and bear. Turtle, wolf, and bear are traits. You can see traits in everything. But protons, neutrons, and electrons, what the heck is it? You don't know it. You ain't gonna be able to tell it from a brick wall. You ain't gonna know what it is. But when you know that everything is based on three basic elements, and each trait, their traits are in everything, you'll start to see bear in that tree. You'll start to see wolf in the clouds. In absolutely everything, you will see the mix of turtle, wolf, and bear, because this is the scientific reality that the entire world, the physical world, is based on these three. You just know it as protons, neutrons, and electrons.
Donc, nous avons trois clans. Il y a le clan de la tortue, le clan du loup et le clan de l'ours. Et par exemple, même dans les religions, on parle d'un trois sacrés, tout dépendamment de quelle religion on parle. Et même dans la science, on va parler des atomes composés par électrons, protons, neutrons. Donc, il y a une réalité spirituelle, scientifique qui nous confirme que tout part à partir de trois.
So when we're talking about the environment, what are we talking about? What is the environment? What do you, each one of us, I'd like to ask each one of you, if you don't want to, just pass. What do you identify as the environment? Maybe, just as an example, maybe you'll think tree, maybe you'll think dirt. What is it that you think of when you think environment?
Donc là, j'aimerais ça poser la question à tout le monde, puis on va passer la plume. Puis si vous ne voulez pas le dire, ben, vous le passez tout simplement à côté, là. Mais l'environnement, ça veut dire quoi pour vous? Peut-être ça vous fait penser à un arbre, ça vous fait penser à je ne sais pas quoi, là.
For myself, when I think about the environment, I always see the whole planet and whatever is like everything.
Moi, l'environnement, ça me fait penser à la planète entière, puis même le système solaire, puis tout au-delà.
Oh. Trees and nature.
Les arbres et la nature,
Nature.
I think of the earth.
je pense à la terre.
I think of everything that surrounds us, and thinking about this context, I like the expression of Father Sky, Mother Earth.
Je pense à tout ce qui nous entoure et ça me fait penser à Père Ciel et Mère Terre. Ça, je peux dire en français. Ben oui.
Un peu comme ce qu'il vient de dire, un peu tout ce qui nous entoure, la nature, mais également les éléphants.
Everything that surrounds us, but at the same time, we see humans, us, animals, plants, everything that surrounds us.
I think the environment could go the whole cosmos, everything,
whole-
everything, the whole cosmos, the whole universe.
Yeah, I think the first thing came to my mouth, my mind is breath, air. Yeah.
Là, j'ai pas entendu, mais là,
Tout ce qui sort de la bouche, c'est l'air.
merci.
And when I think of the environment, I think of everything and that everything that we interact with.
Tout ce qu'on interagit avec.
When I think of environment, I think of balance.
Wow. Okay, so any one of us thinking about the environment, of course, we're not wrong. All of us are right. But when you see that when we put our minds together in a collective consciousness, then we're more right. Because we got all the examples of the things that are the environment. Not that we're not dumb. I'm not dumb because I say, well, I think environment and I think of the forest. Hey, that's limited. It's just the forest. Hey, if that's what I see, that's what I relate to. That doesn't make the person dumb. At least they can relate to something. So when we come together, this is the thing that happens a lot of times, as you know, that people are afraid to speak out because they think that their knowledge isn't good enough to be heard because somebody else knows more, or they're gonna feel small, or embarrassed or something. At this point in time on our Mother Earth, forget about feeling embarrassed, forget about feeling inadequate, forget about anything that's gonna hold you back, because at this point on our Mother Earth, you gotta jump forward right now. You gotta take action.
Et donc, vie et après on regarde la collectivité, la connaissance qu'on met ensemble, ben on est plus grand quand on est ensemble. Tu sais, c'est sûr que si je pense à la forêt, ben ça veut pas dire que je suis nono, mais parfois dans cette société, on nous apprend comme on est nono, notre capacité de dire les choses n'est pas si élevée que d'autres, mais aujourd'hui, étant donné les conditions de santé de notre mère terre, là, on n'a plus de temps de sentir qu'on est nono, il faut aller, il faut foncer, il faut croire en nous.
So from the smallest one of us who said whatever, the least amount. Let's say the smallest thought of environment is this seed that you can't even see.
Donc, c'est la plus petite pensée en relation à l'environnement et c'est une petite graine qu'on peut même pas voir après.
But it's there, you can hear it. Listen, I don't know if you hear it.
Mais on peut l'entendre.
Maybe it'll grow. So from the smallest thought that we have to the environment to what the cosmos, the universe. Okay, you know the cosmos, the universe. I know it as the waterverse.
Et par exemple, comment on appelle le plus grand? On va l'appeler le cosmos, l'univers, mais nous on le nomme l'ovaire.
Because I think of my mother when I think environment.
Parce que quand je pense à l'environnement, je pense à ma mère.
My mother that created me.
Ma mère qui m'a créé.
And where did she create me?
Et où qu'elle m'a créé?
She created me in the waterverse.
Elle m'a créé dans l'ovaire.
Out of the amniotic fluid that she carried within her body.
À partir du fluide amniotique qu'elle porte dans son corps.
The sacred process, as we all know, that only a life giver carries.
Le processus sacré que nous savons que c'est seulement une donneuse de vie qui va porter.
Of course, that power today is, let me choose the word here. That power today is compromised. It's attacked, it's brutalized by male dominance.
Mais bien sûr que ce pouvoir aujourd'hui, laissez-moi choisir mes mots, est violenté, même brutalisé par la dominance mâle.
To the point where life givers today do not grow up into their power, do not know what their power is. You cannot exercise it. You don't even know what it is, so you can't exercise it.
En point que les donneuses de vie ne vont pas grandir dans leur puissance, elles ne vont pas être capables de reconnaître tout leur pouvoir et donc de l'exercer.
Because your power, yeah, on your own, it is a force of nature on its own still. But the reality is life givers must be together.
Parce que votre pouvoir, mais bien sûr que vous pouvez l'exercer à vous toute seule, mais dans la réalité, le pouvoir de donneuses de vie est quand elles sont ensemble.
To share your collective mind, your collective consciousness.
Pour partager votre conscience collective.
For us within the Ganyangahaga and the 5 nations who came to peace over 2,000 years ago, the reality of our counseling process is that there is 2 separate counsel processes. There's a counsel process for the life givers and a counsel process for the life protectors. Counsel process for women and men, separate. You do not have men in a woman's counsel fire and you do not have women in a men's counsel fire.
Et pour nous, la Confédération des 5 Nations dans la Ganyangahaga et la fondatrice, ben, nous, on a établi dans notre constitution de la Grande Loi de la Paix les 2 pouvoirs de la nature séparés l'un de l'autre. Donc, il y a le conseil premier qui est le conseil des femmes, et ensuite le conseil des hommes. Puis, il ne peut pas avoir des femmes dans le conseil des hommes, mais vice-versa.
So, let's see, there's an issue. There's an issue at hand. Mother Earth is dying.
Et donc, si notre problème aujourd'hui, c'est que notre mère Terre est en train de mourir,
Let's have a council on it.
ben, il faut qu'on ait un conseil par rapport à ça.
You've already had a council on it.
Vous l'avez déjà vu.
Your United Nations created an international panel on climate change in 2008.
Et vos Nations Unies ont créé un, comment on appelle ça là? Le panel
International panel on climate change.
le panel international en changement climatique qui a été créé en 2008.
And they put out a conclusion, scientists from around the world, you know, doing their assessments, all their measurements and stuff. You know, they come up with a conclusion in 2017 stating to the world that we have until the year 2030 in which to reverse the destruction we have already caused. And that's from 2008. It's that assessment from 2008, which they only released in 2017. So it's already 9 years behind the times.
Et donc, ça a été en 2017 que le panel d'experts a émis leurs conclusions, leurs études, leurs mesures pour dire que notre planète avait jusqu'à l'année 2030 pour avoir des mesures correctrices aux dommages qui avaient été faits à l'environnement.
And so you, here in your country, in so-called Canada, yous all vote, yous all participate, you put politicians in place to address this, you hired scientists, you already counseled on it, it was deduced in 2017, and yet, together, even though you counseled on it, you have done nothing except make it worse.
Et donc, en 2017, il y a eu ce conseil parce que vous votez, vous choisissez vos politiciens, c'est eux qui embauchent ces experts-là, ils ont un peu conseil, ils ont dit c'est un état d'urgence, il faut faire des quoi pour 2030. Puis il y a personne qui a fait quoi que ce soit, sinon juste empirer le stress.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question separate just for the life givers and for the life protectors.
Donc, une question séparée pour les donneuses de vie et les protecteurs de vie.
How it has been discussed and how it has been concluded and how it has been addressed. Are you satisfied with that council process?
De la façon dont ça a été observé, discuté et conclu, est-ce que vous êtes satisfait et satisfait de ce processus de conseil-là?
Wait, this is a question for the life givers right now, for the women. For the women.
On va commencer avec les donneuses de vie, donc le plancher est ouvert aux donneuses de vie.
Okay, so just so that you know, this is to have order here. We always go counterclockwise and everything, so this way you don't feel like we're stepping on anybody's feet. So, well, we're not gonna pass the feather each time, but just know when there's a question, we're going first to here, and if you don't want, just say pass to the next.
Et bon, c'est sûr qu'il faut expliquer la structure avant. Donc, à chaque fois qu'on va poser une question, on va aller en sens contraire de la montre. Donc, si c'est la question pour les donneuses de vie, on va commencer par là. On ne va pas passer la plume à chaque fois, mais on fait juste suivre cet ordre-là.
So again, the question is, you counseled already on the environment, you already see whatever's happened. Are you happy with that counsel that you have done as a collective of Canadians? Are you happy with that?
Donc, la question, est-ce que vous êtes satisfaite et heureuse avec le conseil que vous avez eu en tant que Canadienne par rapport à ça?
No.
I don't know if I was involved in the council process, but I think the council on the environment is inadequate because most of the time it's controlled by those who have money and power and not those who are going to be impacted in the world.
Et pour commencer, je ne sais pas si j'ai été impliquée dans ce processus de conseil-là, mais ensuite, c'est que ceux qui vont faire les décisions, c'est toujours les gens qui sont au pouvoir et qui ne vont pas se soucier des mesures qui apparaissent, les personnes qui sont les plus affectées.
That is really big what you said. I don't know if I was part of the council process.
Ce que vous avez dit, je ne sais même pas si j'étais impliquée dans ça, c'est très, très grand.
According to democracy, you are.
Parce que selon la démocratie, oui.
So that's what I'm really asking you about, because right now you're identifying, when you say you don't know, it's like you know that there is this path that, I don't know if you're satisfied with it or not, but when you say you don't know that you've been a part of it, it identifies like there's a reluctance to it, or you can't identify with it because you didn't know. It didn't even happen. So there's things happening to you that you don't even know what's why it's happening, what's the cause. There are political processes that are supposed to adjust things, but if you can say, I don't know, then that means you can have determined that those processes have not worked.
Donc, dans le fond, si on peut dire qu'on ne sait pas si on a été impliqué, c'est que ça identifie que le processus est clairement pas en train de fonctionner.
Okay, so Lucy.
Ben, je dirais pas particulièrement heureux du processus, mais encore moins heureux de la suite. T'sais, on n'est pas impliqué dans le processus vraiment à l'échelle individuelle, mais en plus, théoriquement, les scientifiques ont identifié ce qu'on devrait faire et on ne met pas en place. Moi, c'est ça là que ça me fâche.
Well, for sure, I agree that we were not even involved, like practically or some physically way to be in the process. But then what matters or like makes me more angry after that is that the scientists did identify that there's something that needs to be done. And there was no follow-up, no way after that to really do something about it.
Okay, I'll just take a minute to address that also.
Donc, je voudrais aussi parler de ça.
just for you to become aware that life givers, women, you are a part of a counseling process.
Donc, juste pour identifier que les donneuses de vie, vous faites partie d'un processus de conseil.
It's just that you're part of a corrupted one.
C'est juste que c'est un corrompu
It doesn't represent you in any way.
qui vous représente pas, mais pas pantoute.
But you do pay your taxes into it.
Et pourtant, vous payez des impôts pour ça.
So it's that way that you are represented within it. And that's where your voice is. This is where I talked about earlier about your energy being co-opted. Your energy is co-opted through taxation today.
Et donc, si vous payez des impôts pour que ça vous représente, ben c'est là que votre énergie est cooptée. C'est pour ça que tantôt, je parlais d'être conscient de notre médecine pour pas qu'elle soit cooptée.
Also, no.
Ouais, non. Yeah, non.
Okay, so I'm not gonna ask you guys, I'm not asking you not to offend you personally, but in this issue, talking about a council process, I don't care what you think.
Donc là, je ne vais pas poser la question aux gars et c'est pas pour que vous vous sentiez offensés, mais dans un processus de conseil comme ça, après ça, je ne peux pas me soucier de ce que vous croyez.
Because the women just identified that none of them said, hey, we're happy with this council process.
Parce que les femmes viennent identifier, il n'y a aucune d'entre elles qui a dit oui, on est heureuse avec ce processus-là.
I'm sure that if we pick the brains even further, they're gonna come up with a bazillion and one reasons as to why it's no damn good.
Et je suis certaine que si on continue à creuser, ils vont trouver 1001 raisons à dire pourquoi c'est pas bon.
Okay, so guys, you can listen to this, but this is specifically just for you life givers.
Alors, les hommes, vous pouvez entendre ça, mais c'est adressé aux donneuses de vie.
And especially for the youngest one,
Et surtout pour la plus jeune,
because she has the most at stake.
parce que c'est elle qui a beaucoup plus en jeu.
Reality is, we might be around for, who knows, maybe 40 more years, but she'll be around a lot longer than us.
Parce que nous, on va être dans la planète quoi, à 40 ans, mais elle, plus longtemps que ça.
And if we see that apples are disappearing,
Et si on voit que les pommes disparaissent,
she's not gonna have apples in 20 years.
elle ne va pas avoir de pommes dans 20 ans.
Hey, this is something terrible that needs to be addressed, and your council process is not addressing it.
C'est quelque chose de terrible qu'il faut qu'il soit adressé, et le processus de conseil que vous avez ne le fait pas.
So, women, what you don't know is that you are supposed to have your own council process.
Alors, les femmes, ce que vous ne savez pas, c'est que vous êtes censées d'avoir votre propre processus de conseil.
So, I could ask you a hypothetical question right now, like about this whole process, the thing that I just asked you about. Would you consider even looking for a process that works as opposed to one that doesn't work for you?
Et donc, ma question, c'est est-ce que vous considériez de trouver un processus qui fonctionne versus un qui, vous savez, qui ne fonctionne pas?
Remember the scientific analysis of somebody who keeps doing this. I put this here, it falls, and I put it there again, and it falls, and I just keep doing it. What's the scientific analysis of that?
Si les scientifiques disent qu'il y a un nom pour un processus de si je continue à faire une chose à répétition, si ça ne fonctionne pas, c'est quoi le diagnostic pour ça?
I do the same thing over and over. I'm expecting it to stay there, but the same thing keeps happening. So if I keep doing it, I'm expecting it. Something to happen different, but it keeps happening the same thing. If I keep doing that, the scientific analysis of that is insanity.
Donc, si je continue à le faire à répétition en espérant qu'il reste debout, mais il tombe à chaque fois, le diagnostic scientifique, c'est la folie.
Okay, just on this one issue about the environment. We already know everybody's minds in here. Guys, we already know your minds on this also.
Et là, on connaît déjà comment qu'on pense, les donneuses de vie ont parlé, puis les hommes, on le sait déjà.
So just think about how many other issues you're dissatisfied with.
Donc, pensons combien d'autres enjeux vous n'avez pas de satisfaction.
Until it becomes like a whole galaxy of problems that are never addressed, that you're not satisfied with, you're living in like a world of crap.
Jusqu'à ce que ça devienne comme une galaxie de problèmes qui n'ont pas été ni adressés, donc moins encore résolus, et donc vous voulez dans une pile de dots.
So the reason why we're addressing the life givers right now in the council process is because you have in the non-native world and now for 500 years here inflicted a crazy male dominant insanity of democracy upon the people that does not work. It is a warring system and all it does is destroy.
Et donc, c'est la colonisation qui a imposé un héritage de démocratie qui ne fonctionne pas clairement, mais que ça fait juste que les problèmes s'accumulent.
So you're stuck under a democracy which is right from the start, right from the get-go, a male dominant.
Donc, vous êtes attrapé par la démocratie qui, dès le départ, est un système à dominance mâle.
If you think of early democracy, you go back to early Greece.
Et si vous revenez, admettons, au début de la démocratie, c'est la Grèce ancienne.
What was that existence for women?
C'était quoi les conditions des femmes à ce
Well,
moment-là?
if democracy is so good, at the beginnings of it, you would think it would be the best. Then do women want to go back and live in early Greece under democracy?
Si la démocratie était si bonne, est-ce que vous, les femmes, aimeriez-vous aller revenir habiter dans les conditions de la Grèce ancienne?
But here you are, 2,000 years later, living under that very corruption that where they started to corral your own mothers. Your sacred bloodline have been oppressed under that system for thousands of years.
Mais vous voici un habitant sous le même système oppresseur de 2000 ans où vos lignées maternelles ont été cooptées et mis dans une cage.
And within it, it takes women, puts you under a male dominant system, political system, where the reality is for thousands of years, you can say for 2,000 years, you know you didn't have a voice, you know you were a slave, you were nothing but baby factories for soldiers, and you know that it's only in the last maybe 60, 70 years that, hey, men are, the male dominance club is starting to say, hey, we better release a little bit of pressure. Hey, let them vote. It's in our male dominant system anyways. You're not going to get anything you want anyways.
Et donc, depuis le début de la démocratie, les lignées des femmes ont été complètement cooptées. Et bon, après ben, ils ont dit, OK, on va les laisser un peu plus libres. Donc, ça fait depuis combien de temps qu'ils disent, ah, vous pouvez voter maintenant, mais ça va être encore dans un système d'oppression mâle. Fait que ça ne sert à rien.
So for one thing, I'll put a question just to the women. Nuclear power, yes or no?
Donc, question pour les femmes. On va avoir de l'énergie nucléaire. Vous la voulez ou pas?
Absolutely not.
No, explain to her.
C'est parce qu'on va en sens contraire comme ça à répondre à la question. Non. Non.
Oh, wow. You just had a LifeGivers Council and you said no to nuclear power.
Vous venez d'avoir un consensus de conseil de données de vie en disant non au pouvoir à l'énergie nucléaire.
So who said yes to nuclear power? Who said yes to putting a nuclear power that creates the cancer upon you?
Donc, c'est qui a approuvé le fait qu'on ait des usines nucléaires partout qui vont pousser le cancer partout sur la planète?
I just see what she did, and that's not fair. She went like this and said, well, it's true, pointing to the guys, but no, the guys don't want it either.
Et là, elle a dit comme ça, genre, c'est les gars, là, mais c'est pas vrai. Les gars, ils veulent pas ça non plus, là.
Let's have a quick men's council. Nuclear power, yes or no?
On va avoir un conseil d'hommes vite, là. Est-ce qu'on veut l'énergie nucléaire? Oui.
I'm the only other one. No. Hey, we all say no. All the women said no. Who said yes? Who? Where did he come from?
Donc, si toutes les femmes ont dit non, les hommes disent non, c'est qui a dit oui, d'où ça vient?
They come from this corrupted male dominant system of democracy.
De ce système de dominance mâle corrupte de démocratie.
It's a self-inflicted state of schizophrenia upon anyone who participates in it.
Qui est en fait un état auto-infligé de schizophrénie pour n'importe qui participe.
Because, let's say a country is, let's say there's 100 people in a country, all different, whatever walks of life. Those 100 people come together in the government to decide something. That is a collective decision-making process. So that is your collective consciousness. Your government is supposed to be your collective consciousness.
Parce que les gens sont censés de se rassembler en conseil pour arriver à des décisions. Et comment ça se passe aujourd'hui? C'est que ce sont vos gouvernements qui font ce processus de conseil-là.
But in your collective consciousness, which is you can relate to like a human brain, consciousness is in there, right?
Mais si on parle de processus de conscience collective, vous pouvez l'associer à votre cerveau. La conscience est là.
Well, the human brain is supposed to work like this. There is two polarities. There is a female polarity. This is logic, common sense, creativity, all the good stuff, everything. And then there's the male side.
Et le cerveau, il est divisé en deux hémisphères. Donc, il y a le côté féminin qui est plus la créativité, l'imagination, l'amour. Puis de l'autre part, il y a un autre côté du cerveau.
First, to know what the male side is, you got to identify where the males come from.
Et pour identifier c'est quoi le cerveau mâle, il faut d'abord savoir d'où ils viennent les hommes.
So women, stay out of this for now.
Donc, les femmes, on ne va pas répondre à ça pour l'instant.
Just the guys.
Juste les gars pour l'instant.
Where did we come from?
D'où que nous venons?
Where do you, as the individual, where do you come from?
Vous, en tant qu'individu, là, d'où que vous venez?
Mother.
De la maman.
Hey, there's no confusion here in this room. No confusion.
Il n'y a pas de confusion ici, là.
So guys come from mother. We come from life giver. You know what that means? That means there was something, someone here before us. That means we were not the first. That means we're second. We know we come from our mothers. That means the mothers are married. In creation, there's only two of us, so we're second. We can deduce that. I'm not born of my father, and I'm not giving birth to anybody. I know I'm born of mom. So that's where males come from. We come from the male, from our mothers, from matrilineal.
Et donc, ben, si nous savons que les gars viennent des mères, ça veut dire qu'il y avait quelqu'un avant les hommes. Donc, les hommes ne sont pas les premiers.
Okay, so knowing that we are a mother, let's just say, imagine this for right now. She's my mother.
Donc, à titre d'exemple, disons qu'elle est ma mère.
And I'm gonna respond to you. Because like a little laughter, a little chuckle there, you know, because yeah, she's my mom.
Parce que moi, elle est ma mère. Ah.
But you maybe have never heard me say this.
Mais peut-être vous n'avez jamais entendu que je dise ça.
I make supplement only to the life givers.
Moi, je fais juste être sous les donneuses de vie.
You are all as my mother.
Parce que vous êtes toutes comme ma mère.
From the newest born baby girl to the eldest grandmother, you are my mother.
De la plus petite nouvelle-née jusqu'à la plus aînée des grands-mamans, vous êtes ma mère.
Like you, that little girl right there. While she was in the womb of her beautiful mother, she was being given her eggs to her granddaughters as she got hers from her grandmother. That you are intertwined in the sacred three, held together, the very foundations of creation is held together by you, life giver, mother.
Et comme elle, quand elle se faisait créer dans le ventre de sa maman, elle se faisait donner ses œufs par sa grand-mère. Et c'est comme ça que les trois sacrés continuent unis dans la lignée.
And so how this plays out is that I, as a male of the wolf clan, of the Ganyangahaga, I must make it known to you, life givers, that anytime you ever see me anywhere, acting like an idiot, like a fool, starting trouble, lying, disrespecting anything, I grant you the right to immediately stand up and correct me. I give you the right to openly, privately, publicly to chide me. Because if I'm acting stupid enough for you to be able to do that, then maybe sometimes perhaps it's better to do it in a way of public where I'm shamed. Because if I'm doing something stupid, then I'm not able to correct it myself. I grant you that authority. This is the great law of peace. This is what males are supposed to do. I uphold this to the youngest girl. If she came up to me and said, hey, you said this, I have to make supplication of her.
Et donc, dans la grande loi de la paix, les hommes, nous donnons l'autorité aux mères. S'il y a quelque chose qu'on fait des croches, de pas correct, on manque d'une représentation, on fait quelque chose d'erroné, ben, elles ont le droit de venir nous le dire de façon privée ou publique. Et si je fais des choses stupides, ça serait peut-être mieux que ça soit public. Parce que si elles viennent me dire, hey, t'as dit ça, ben, je dois me corriger.
And so then this tells you, the males in this world, we are subordinate to you. Not that you have a whip and cracking it over us and we're going to listen to you because you're the authority. No, but because we acknowledge your authority. Because we know that to manifest out of spirit and to come to this far in our stage of evolution, that it's because of your sacred power. And this sacred power is my life. Without your sacred power and me recognizing and respecting it, I just die.
Et dans le fond, c'est ça, de reconnaître qu'il y a une autorité chez les femmes. C'est pas qu'elles vont avoir comme à nous donner des coups ou quelque chose pour exercer l'autorité, c'est que nous, les gars, on la reconnaît et on agit en conséquence.
So it tells you this is what I am. I am the son of my mother. This is how I identify. I am the son of my mother. I am her hands in this world. She has given me her heart. This is not my heart. And later, if there's time, I'll prove to you through science how this is not my heart, how it's my mother's.
Et donc, je suis le fils de ma mère, c'est ça ce que je suis, et je lui appartiens parce qu'en fait, mon corps vient de ma mère. Et si je peux vous le prouver scientifiquement parlant plus tard, je vais le faire.
So, as the hands of mama, what does mama want?
Et en tant que mère, en tant que main de ma mère, la mère, elle veut quoi?
You all know, hey, guys have been concluding this on your behalf for thousands of years. Oh, don't worry. I know what you want. No, you don't know what you want. I'll tell you what you want.
Et les gars, ils l'ont fait depuis des années, là, ils disent, ah, non, toi, tu sais pas ce que tu fais. Moi, je vais te dire ce que je veux.
Not within the great law of peace.
Mais pas dans la grande loi de la paix.
How we know what you want is through what's missing in your world right now, that LifeGivers Council process. Because the LifeGivers Council process just told us you don't want nuclear power. So how do I know what you want? In your council process, this is where you identify what the life givers want and what they don't want, what therefore dictates to the males what we are to do in this world. I am my mother's hands, and from her counsel, I know what I must build, I know what I must remove, I know what I must attack, and that I must, what every ounce in my body, every ounce of life, I must engage until the contest is won, because our mother's life is on the line.
Et donc, c'est le conseil des femmes qui va donner les directions aux hommes. Et donc, c'est de là que les hommes vont prendre leur main pour faire ce que les mères demandent.
And so here's what happens to everybody.
Et voici ce qui arrive à tout le monde.
There's a mountain there that we gotta move, and then you look at the mountain and you say, it's a mountain, I can't go.
Donc, voilà une montagne et on sait qu'il faut la bouger, mais là, on dit, oh, c'est une montagne, maintenant, je ne peux pas faire ça. Là.
Can one person move a mountain?
Est-ce qu'une personne peut bouger une montagne?
Yes, you can.
Oui, vous pouvez.
You life givers carry the force of creation within you since the beginning of time. It is your sacred bloodline. You are the force of creation. And your force of creation can rise out of your single voice that you derive out of mama's, what she's giving you, the spirit, telling you her emotion. You can rise with that voice and bring it to the collective of life givers and begin your counsel and then start to tell the men what we are supposed to do.
Vous, les donneuses de vie, portez l'instruction originaire depuis le début de temps qui vous a été transmise par toute votre lignée. Donc, vous pouvez capter les messages par le champ électromagnétique de notre mère Terre pour pouvoir dire ce qui est nécessaire soit fait.
I am Gazik Danzrio.
Je suis Gatti Danzalio.
This baby, it means beautiful bird.
Et c'est le nom que ma mère m'a donné et ça se traduit quand j'étais bébé, là, c'est bel oiseau.
I follow my mother.
Je suis ma maman
And so I am in a wolf clan house.
et donc je suis dans une maison du clan du loup.
I am a wolf clan.
Je suis un clan du loup.
And I'll tell you, any real wolf, once they bite and engage, they do not let go until that contest is won.
Et un vrai loup, il va mordre et il va pas lâcher jusqu'à ce que le concours soit gagné.
I am of the Five Nations Longhouse Confederacy. I am on the left, always on the left of this belt where the sun rises.
Et je suis de la Confédération des 5 nations et ma nation est à gauche à partir d'où que le soleil se lève.
And my people, the only people on the planet to rise out of the dark ages of war and climb up to the women so that we can evolve together, have extended The two-row wampum to the non-native people who have traveled here from around the world. All of yous have ran from your problems. All of yous have escaped. You never dealt with your problems. And you came here into my house bringing all your problems. And still when you're here, you still refuse to address your problems.
Et mon peuple qui s'est levé dès la noirceur de la guerre pour les hommes, pour attraper les femmes dans le siège d'autorité qu'elles avaient, nous avons étendu ce traité de paix aux colonisateurs quand ils sont arrivés. Mais même si on dit que oui, ils le respectaient, ils sont venus avec leurs problèmes et ils continuent à avoir leurs problèmes imposés dans ma maison et ils refusent même de les adresser.
The first time this was introduced to your ancestors was 409 years ago. 9 years ago.
La première fois que ça a été présenté à vos ancêtres, ça a été il y a 409 ans,
In 1616.
dans l'année 1616.
So it was first introduced to the Dutch, then the British, then the French, and then everybody else. It's entrenched in so-called Canada's constitution. If you got one, it's not a constitution, you got a charter.
Et ça a été présenté d'abord aux Hollandais, aux Français, aux Anglais, et c'est même dans la soi-disant Constitution canadienne que c'est même pas une constitution, c'est juste une charte.
And the reason why we extended the two-row wampum, as you know, first we welcomed you, welcomed all the people that came here. And, you were sick, dying, we took care of you, fed you, housed you, and then when you got better, you started to kill us, the people who saved you.
Et pourquoi qu'on l'a étendu? Ben parce que comme vous le savez, on a accueilli les ancêtres de l'autre côté de l'océan, on les a nourris, protégés, guéris, et après quand ils étaient en santé, ils ont commencé à nous attaquer, même à nous tuer.
We were shocked that we had to fight you. Hey, because to us, white, when we saw the white man, you got no idea. To us, look at the white in our belts. White is everywhere. To us, white was sacred. It was power. It was of the highest spirituality.
Et nous avons été épatés là parce que nous, quand on a vu le blanc, on pensait, vous le voyez dans nos ceintures, le blanc, il représente la pureté, la beauté, la luminosité, donc on ne croyait pas à nos yeux quand ça a commencé.
And in the belts, it represents the women.
Et dans les ceintures, ça représente les femmes.
So when we started fighting, we don't want to fight. You just want to fight. You just want to go all over the world killing people. That's what you like to do.
Et quand ils ont commencé à se battre contre nous, ben, on ne veut pas se battre, mais il a fallu qu'on se défende. Mais comment ça, ils veulent aller partout dans le monde et attaquer tout le monde?
It makes no sense to anybody else that it's happening to. Because we're there doing whatever, you know, making planting or making love or talking to our children. And then here comes along these white people from Europe wanting to come and kill our children and kidnap and just kill everybody, destroy everything.
Et ça n'a aucun sens parce que imaginez-vous, nous sommes là en train de planter, puis là du coup, il y a des hommes blancs qui arrivent et veulent tuer nos enfants, les kidnapper, les amener ailleurs.
And for that, I'll hold it there, but I'll have you think about this. Do you think that behavior ever stopped?
Et pour ça, ben, je vais m'arrêter là, mais est-ce que vous croyez, je peux vous laisser réfléchir à ça, que ce comportement s'est arrêté?
And if it didn't, in the world that you're in now, who's doing it?
Et si ce n'est pas le cas, dans le monde d'aujourd'hui, c'est qui continue à le faire?
I'll tell you, it's still happening.
Ben, je vous le dis, ça continue.
But we held out the two-row wampum to you because the reality is we're not supposed to war. We're not supposed to fight. Only idiots fight. Look at it in schools, right? Bullies are dumb. They talk against it, and the whole school says pushes against. No, bullies are wrong, and you'll even get punished. But hey, wait a minute. When you're in high school, they'll go there, recruit you, and the schools will allow you. They'll nurture you to be recruited to go and kill people.
Et ben, n'importe qui va faire la guerre, en fait, la mentalité de guerre est complètement stupide, là, mais on voit comment que ça se nourrit dans la société. Dans les écoles, ils vont dire, ah, le bullying, c'est mauvais, mais quand que vous êtes au niveau collège, universitaire, ça va être même les écoles qui vont faire la promotion, on vous recrute pour l'armée, pour que vous soyez des soldats, pour que vous ayez tué d'autres enfants, d'autres mères.
So the reason why we created the two-row wampum to extend it to the non-native people is because it's the world's first peace symbol.
Et donc, pourquoi qu'on a créé ce traité de paix et qu'on l'a donné au peuple qui est arrivé, c'était le premier symbole de paix.
See, there's two things there.
Vous voyez qu'il y a deux lignes là.
And we are two things.
Nous sommes deux choses.
But as long as we're here like this, we're two things that are separated.
Et en autant qu'on reste comme ça, on est séparés.
Do you have those two things within you?
Que vous avez ces deux choses-là en vous.
Can you think of two things within you that you have?
Est-ce que vous pensez à deux choses en vous que vous avez?
Trillions of.
Des trillions de ça.
What is it?
C'est quoi?
It's called your DNA.
Votre ADN.
This wampum belt is your DNA. It's the world's first peace symbol. It's the two coming together, wrapping themselves around each other in peace to build and to create.
Et c'est l'ADN, le symbole de paix le plus ancien, qui indique qu'on est séparés pour rester ensemble et continuer à co-créer.
Okay, so the whole teachings of the two-row wampum, it's a lot more complicated than that.
Bien sûr que si là je me mets à vous parler du wampum à tout bois, ben ça va être beaucoup plus long.
Sounds like somebody's getting murdered over there or something.
C'est comme s'il y a quelqu'un qui s'est fait attaquer, là, les cris, ça.
Oh, jeez. So when we extended the two-row wampum, it was two white men that came here to kill. They had swords in their hands, a Bible in one. If we didn't accept the Bible, then they gave us the sword.
Donc, quand on a donné ce traité, c'était aux hommes, parce qu'ils nous donnaient deux choix. Soit on se chrétianisait avec la Bible, ou soit on se faisait tuer avec l'épée.
About 500 years ago, we didn't know about the non-native people. We really didn't know.
Et il y a 2000 ans, ben, on ne savait pas que vous existiez, les non-autochtones.
It was a while to learn.
Ça a pris un moment pour apprendre.
And so once we extended the two-row wampum, we realized that we extended it to men who were here to kill.
Et une fois qu'on a vu qu'on avait donné le traité à des hommes qui étaient prêts à tuer,
So just a few years ago, we come to realize that, hey, you know what? In Europe, the non-natives, the white people, they're not represented by men. Even you're in a male-dominant system, they don't represent you. Because as the question was just asked you, would it be yes or no? You all said no, but somebody said yes. So the system, which is male-dominant, powering over you, does not represent you.
et comme on le sait, ils sont venus avec leur système de gouvernance qui est la démocratie. On a déjà établi tantôt avec l'exercice que ça ne vous représente pas.
So a couple of years ago, we come to our senses that we can't have a two-row wampum peace treaty in the hands of men that are corrupt.
Et il y a quelques années, on s'est rendu compte qu'on ne pouvait pas avoir ce traité dans les mains des hommes corrompus.
So we had to create somebody on the other side to communicate.
Et il faut qu'on ait quelqu'un d'autre de l'autre côté pour communiquer avec.
You can't communicate with the men.
On ne peut pas communiquer avec les
The
hommes.
non-native men, you just cannot communicate with them.
Les hommes non autochtones, on ne peut pas communiquer avec.
So the reality is, who represents you then? Only you. Only the LifeGivers can represent you. And so the LifeGivers Nation was created to have all women from many different walks of life come together under great law of peace to have your council where you can have what your position is and put it forward and, like we said, tell the men what we are supposed to do.
Et donc, la nation des donneuses de vie a été créée afin que toutes les femmes de tous les horizons, de n'importe où, puissent venir ensemble sous la grande loi de la paix. Elles puissent apprendre le processus de conseil, le conseil des femmes, et elles puissent commencer à établir les besoins que les hommes ont besoin de suivre.
So what this is a grandmother, a mother and a granddaughter. That makes a woman, a life giver. When you separate them, you're female, but you're not a life giver. You're not in the full power. You must always be with your grandmother, your mother, your daughter. The female line must always be together. It is religion that's come along and created a concept of marriage that rips you out of there, takes you out of this, and then the grandmother cannot have her power realized into the future, and the person of the woman of the now is lost, and the woman of tomorrow has no idea where she's going.
Et donc, c'est la grand-maman, la maman et la fille qui doivent toujours rester ensemble. C'est avec les religions de dominancement que la femme s'en va avec l'homme. Elle est déracinée de son territoire, de sa famille, et donc ça laisse que la mère est perdue, puis ça laisse que la fille ne va même pas savoir où elle s'en va.
So as that is grandmother, mother, and granddaughter, it is also something else. What is it? What did we start off talking about earlier?
Et en même temps que c'est la grand-mère, la mère et la fille, on a dit quelque chose au départ, vous vous souvenez, c'était quoi?
Protons, neutrons, electrons, turtle, wolf, bear.
Les protons, neutrons et électrons, la tortue, le loup et l'ours.
Okay, so now we know the environment we're talking about.
Donc là, nous savons de quel environnement qu'on parle.
It's a female body.
C'est encore féminin.
That's our environment.
C'est ça notre environnement.
It's not a tree. It's not a bird. It's a life giver environment.
Ce n'est pas un arbre ou un oiseau, mais un environnement féminin.
So now let me explain to you something that maybe you never considered.
Et maintenant, laissez-moi vous raconter quelque chose que vous n'avez peut-être pas considéré.
You've all heard of something like CERN, right? Collider, super accelerator, where they split atoms, hydrogen atoms, and send the particles at each other opposite directions, speed of light, and smash them together.
Est-ce que vous avez entendu parler de CERN ou Fermilab, qui sont des accélérateurs de particules qui vont prendre les atomes, les séparer, puis faire que l'un se écrase contre l'autre?
This is what goes on at CERN.
Voici ce qui arrive à CERN.
Cut the daughter from the mother. They send around in the other direction and they smash the mother left in this world crazy.
Et ça, il coupe la fille de la mère et la grand-mère, il l'envoie dans une direction dans la centrifuge et la petite fille dans une autre direction de la centrifuge. Elle s'écrase, elle s'auto-annihile et laisse la mère toute seule perdue dans le bras.
When you're splitting atoms, what you're actually splitting is your mother's heart. You are doing what we call splitting your mother's sky that you'll
Et quand les atomes sont divisés comme ça, et une fois qu'il est cassé son cœur, comment qu'on peut le remettre ensemble? Donc, c'est ça ce que je comprends et d'autres choses là.
And so many people on the same level when we talk about environment, where you just are not there.
Et alors, ce n'est pas au même niveau parce qu'on n'a pas le même degré de compréhension.
And so what we have learned is that we're talking to people that don't even speak their own language. We can speak to you in English and French, and it doesn't matter. We're part of the IPCC, you're part of it. And it happened. And they told you what to do. And still yet, you know nothing. So it's negative, negative, negative against the life giver all the way down the line.
Et on a déjà établi ce qu'il y a eu de panel intergouvernemental de changement climatique, il y a eu des recommandations qui ont été faites, il n'y a rien qui a été fait. Donc, ça fait juste que la question de la femme, du corps environnemental, c'est égal.
Okay, so we had to establish this as the foundational knowledge as to what we're going to discuss now.
Donc, il fallait qu'on fasse ce préambule pour avoir le même degré de compréhension ensemble, pour savoir de quoi on va parler maintenant.
Because our solutions to what we have done to Mother Earth, violent acts upon Mother Earth, the solutions must be out of love. It must be out of the utmost emotion of care. Like you're taking care of your grandmother in her final moments.
Et les actions qui doivent être mises pour l'environnement doivent être faites à partir de l'amour le plus profond, là, comme celui que vous donneriez à votre grand-mère quand elle est dans son lit de mort, puis c'est ce dernier moment.
Okay, so anyways, once we've seen the IPC statement of 2017, and they only said you got until the year 2030, which in 2017, just happened to be only what, 13 years? 13 years, and now here we are 7 years later, 9 years later. 8 years later, only 5 years to go, and nobody on earth lifted a finger at all. And you're all still paying your taxes to go the opposite direction.
Et donc, en 2017, le panel a dit c'est urgence, il faut qu'on fasse de quoi avant 2030. Là, ça a été 13 ans avant la date limite. Là, 8 ans après, il nous reste juste 5 ans. Puis il n'y a personne qui n'a rien fait et vous continuez encore à payer des impôts. Et donc, ça indique qu'on va dans la direction opposée.
So within our nation, women's councils, men's councils, able to conclude on issues.
Donc, dans notre nation, avec le Conseil des femmes, le Conseil des hommes, on est capable d'arriver à une conclusion sur l'enjeu.
You've heard everybody in the last, what, 4 or 5 years saying, every politician saying, trust the science.
Et vous savez que dans les derniers 4-5 ans, on a entendu les politiciens qui disaient tout le temps il faut faire confiance à la science.
But all those politicians paid all those scientists in the IPCC, and not a single politician on earth has listened to the scientists.
Et pourtant, ces politiciens ont embauché des experts et les politiciens n'ont pas levé un doigt pour écouter ce que les experts disaient.
What you don't realize is when they told you to trust the science, you identified this or associated as that you gotta listen to somebody who's got a PhD behind their name. They got some letters and they're in a male dominant system of what's caused this problem in the first place.
Et donc, le problème, c'est qu'on a appris à croire que les experts sont quelqu'un qui a un doctorat ou des lettres associées à son nom, puis c'est ça l'autorité, ça fait partie du système de dominancement qui a créé le problème pour commencer.
When we say trust the science, we're not telling you to listen to somebody with a PhD who went to university to learn how to do destruction and then like as if they're the authority. No, when we say this to you, trust the science. You are the scientist. You, especially the life givers, you are the gauge of what is happening in creation. You are the ones that are supposed to tell us and direct us males what to do.
Donc, quand on dit il faut écouter la science, on parle de chacune de vous, surtout les donneuses de vie, que vous sentez les messages qui sont portés par notre Mère Terre et quand on sait, vous pouvez les transmettre au bas, à nous, pour qu'on puisse suivre vos directives.
Okay, so once that IPC statement was out, what are we gonna do? Think of that like what was said earlier. Anybody can think like this. Hey, it's a worldwide issue. What is it? It's everything. It's not just one thing. What could I do about it?
Et comme on a dit tantôt, on pense à l'environnement et on dit, oh, mais c'est quelque chose de global, c'est tellement immense, donc qu'est-ce que je peux faire moi comme petite personne?
Well, I'll tell you what, everybody else in the world will look at the issue, like we said, they'll look at the mountain and they'll say, I can't move the mountain, and so they'll never get started. They are defeated before they even think about it.
Et si le monde regarde la montagne en disant, je suis une petite personne, je peux rien faire, ben ils vont même pas commencer parce qu'ils sont déjà dans la défaite.
But I am my mother's son,
Mais je suis le fils de ma mère.
and my mother will not permit me to not have solution to problems that people have created.
Et ma mère ne me permettrait pas de ne pas avoir une solution à des problèmes que les gens ont occasionné.
And so when we seen all of this stuff and those, non-native world, they're the problem, they're causing it. They are the problem. They're the living problem. They won't do nothing about it because they are the problem. So you're not gonna correct yourself. So we look at the issue, then what do we gotta do? They won't listen, there's no talking. We gotta do something proactive. We gotta pull a rabbit out of a hat.
Et ce qu'on a conclu en conseil, c'est que si on parle de monde de non-autochtones, ils n'écoutent pas, ils sont le problème, ils refusent de le reconnaître, donc ils ne vont pas changer. Donc, c'est à nous de faire notre solution et de commencer à l'appliquer.
And so upon looking at all of this from a scientific perspective,
Et en regardant tout ça à partir d'un point de vue scientifique,
what's the solution to every problem?
quelle est la solution à chaque problème?
Is not to address every problem. Because go ahead and address it, and by the time you're done, that problem is gonna pop back up again and you're never gonna get anywhere.
C'est de pas de s'attarder à chaque problème puis les adresser de façon individuelle parce que du moment que vous avez fini d'adresser le premier, il s'est déjà levé encore.
You gotta address the root of the problem.
Il faut adresser la racine du problème.
Today, we've done that here with you. We've addressed the root of the problem, and your problem is male dominance, and it is manifested through the self-inflicted state of schizophrenia of democracy, and which gets you to not be able to express what your sentiment is, to put your power into the world, to say, no, we can't do this. Yes, we're gonna do this. That's your problem. You're in it. You're in a false, man-made religious construct that prevents you because it feeds you with a false programming a de-education, a dehumanizing education.
Et aujourd'hui, on a abordé le problème des racines. On a parlé de comment que quand que vous déléguez votre pouvoir à la démocratie, vous n'êtes même pas inclus dans le processus de prise de décision. Et à ce moment-là, vous croyez qu'il y a quelque chose de bon qui peut se produire, mais ça fait partie d'un construit social qui est venu de l'autre côté de l'océan, qui est la colonisation et qui crée de la dominance mâle sans qu'on ne soit même pas capable de la percevoir.
So, when we looked at it, my mother would not permit me to not push her word into this world. And so, 5 years ago, we came out with the HempUnitiy agenda.
Et donc, comme je l'ai dit, il faut que je me sois. Ma mère m'a appris à faire ça. Donc, il y a 5 ans, on a dévisé l'agenda de l'Union de chambre.
We don't have time to read it to you here. It's a document, it's on a legal size document, but it addresses what the IPC statement was, what it identifies, and basically to all the problems on it, everything, absolutely everything, spiritual problems. Hemp is what's gonna heal our Mother Earth because it addresses all the poisons that we done. Just think, if you got poison here, we gotta address it. We will address all the medicine. Hemp will address that. It'll address this other problem over here. It addresses every problem from nuclear waste, nuclear hazards. As you know, in Chernobyl, they used hemp and it has magically transformed the place in, of course, less time than what science has identified, because the magic of hemp will extract the nuclear contamination into the plant, and the plant itself breaks it down.
Et donc, c'est le chanvre qui est la médecine magique pour guérir notre mère terre, dans le sens qu'il a été même critiqué à Tchernobyl. La plante, ce qu'elle va faire, c'est qu'elle va absorber tout ce qui est les polluants de la terre, de l'eau, de l'air, à même titre que si on le consomme, elle peut soigner des bobos qu'on peut avoir au niveau du corps.
Today, or let's go back 100 years ago, you, the non-native people, you were actually, not even 100 years ago, this is in the 1920s, you were able to pay your taxes with hemp. You could grow hemp in your backyard, oil it up, put it on your front yard, and the taxpayer would come along and take the hemp off of you. And you wouldn't have to give any kind of monetary payment for taxes. Imagine if you could pay your taxes with something you grow in your backyard.
Et vous pouvez faire des recherches sur ça. Il y a en 1920, vous pouviez payer vos impôts avec du chanvre. Si vous plantiez dans votre cour en arrière, vous mettiez votre petite ventoule sur la rue, puis le collecteur d'impôts, il venait, il ramassait ça. Donc, vous n'avez pas à débourser de l'argent, mais que vous pouvez payer avec du chanvre.
Now today with the technology, and I am not professing to have any knowledge of that technology. All I am is telling the world that the world must go to hemp.
Et je sais qu'aujourd'hui, avec les technologies, je ne peux pas dire que la technologie, je la connais, mais je sais les bienfaits que le chanvre peut faire. Donc, c'est ça ma façon de le transmettre à vous.
But in our journey, we're becoming hemp producers.
Mais là, tranquillement, pas vite, on devient des producteurs de chanvre.
There's a young family in Ganawagi in the last couple of years who have really been pushing about the environment to find that all the destruction you got in your environment out here, which is fine, is happening right on the reserve. You think, why would that happen? The same thing. Natives are supposed to protect the environment, right? They should be more protective. How could we have the exact same thing happening upon us? This young family created Ganyangahaga land defenders to rise to protect the land, and now this summer they are beginning to plant the hemp, to cultivate it. We're beginning to fine-tune our own science on it, into production level.
Et à Ganawagi, récemment, il y a une famille qui a décidé de donner leur terre pour faire la plantation du chanvre, parce qu'à Ganawagi, il y a tellement de problèmes environnementaux, c'est devenu un dépotoir, le monde qui est dans la cupidité, qui reçoit de l'argent pour faire, en tout cas, enfuir des déchets. Il y a beaucoup de problèmes de santé, et donc, avec le chanvre, c'est une initiative au sein de la communauté pour guérir tous ces problèmes environnementaux.
And for them, the reason why this is coming about is because on their property, on their farm, they adjacent property is a quarry and an asphalt place and other stuff, and it's polluting their property. And so the solution is hemp there also. Solution around farms. You think farms would be the healthiest places? No way, it's more polluted than the cities. So you gotta go around the farms and plant it around. And all the rivers around the farms, you gotta go around every sewage. Whatever they call it. You know what Montreal does every year, they got big dump. So around those areas, that's what's gotta happen. Hemp, it's gotta be planted there. Who's gonna do it? Are we waiting for a government to say to do this? No, they're against it. So this is where the people have to rise up and do this. Everyone on earth can take a handful of seeds because we offer it to you for free. You give it away.
Et donc, ben, on a tendance à penser, ah, les fermes, c'est propre, mais tous leurs déchets, ils coulent, ils s'en vont aux rivières, à Montréal, à chaque année, ils vont déverser les déchets, nos déchets organiques dans les rivières. Donc, il y a beaucoup besoin de nettoyer la terre. Et là, qu'est-ce qu'on va faire? On va attendre à ce que le gouvernement dise, oui, vous pouvez le faire. Ben non, ils sont à l'encontre, ils ont leur propre agenda. Donc, ça appartient à chaque individu d'en être conscient de mettre ça partout pour guérir la terre, les eaux. Et donc, nous donnons des semences gratuites. Juste avec une petite poignée, ça peut vraiment faire la grande différence.
So it starts from here.
Ça commence à partir d'ici.
Oh, you can use as much as you want, but I'll just have a little bit in your hand.
Ça, c'est vraiment le symbole, là, mais on en a plus, là. Si vous voulez plus, vous pouvez venir nous en demander.
That little thing,
Cette petite graine,
just like at one time, you were that little thing.
à un moment donné, vous étiez cette petite affaire-là.
And look at what you have grown into.
Et regardez combien que vous avez poussé.
And you have a brain.
Et vous avez un cerveau maintenant.
And for you life givers, you are the force of creation.
Et pour vous, les donneuses de vie, vous êtes la force de la création.
Together, you can rise to become greater than just what that one little thing is.
Ensemble, vous pouvez grandir beaucoup plus de ce qu'une petite affaire peut faire.
A life giver here can plant it in their yard.
Une donneuse de vie ici peut la planter dans sa cour en arrière
You'll feel it.
et vous allez sentir sa poussée.
Because all plants, as you know, have electromagnetism in them.
Parce que chaque plante, comme vous le savez, a un champ électromagnétique.
Just like you take your shoes off and put your feet in the grass, you'll feel it. You'll feel good. Mamas will feel good.
Comme si vous enlevez vos souliers, vous mettez les pieds directs sur la terre, vous allez le ressentir. C'est bon.
So you plant that, you'll feel the magnetism. It will help things like even what you're thinking.
Et donc, si vous le plantez, le magnétisme va être avec vous et ça va même aider dans la pensée.
And you can send a couple of seeds to your sisters or wherever they are across the world and know that together you are planting to heal Mother Earth.
Et vous pouvez envoyer des graines à vos sœurs, peu importe où qu'elles sont, puis vous allez savoir qu'ensemble, vous êtes en train de travailler pour guérir la terre.
And that together each of you will grow those seeds and share them with love out of your heart with others.
Et qu'ensemble, une fois que vos plantes vont grandir, vous allez avoir des semences et que vous pouvez les repartir avec l'amour à quelqu'un d'autre.
Because right now what we need is kind of like a magic bullet, you know, to address all issues.
Dans ce moment, c'est comme si on a besoin de quelque chose de magique qui va tout traiter en même temps.
Hemp is the magic bullet.
Ben, c'est ça le champ.
It can be manufactured.
Il peut être industrialisé.
So this is once it's broken down with what they call decorticated, you know, it's once it's broken down, decorticated.
Donc, la
Look like
plante,
this.
elle peut pousser vraiment très haut, dépendamment du type de semence, selon la fibre qu'il y a besoin. Et une fois que la plante est séchée, elle va être processée. Ça, c'est la fibre qui a été déjà décortiquée, par exemple. Vous pouvez prendre juste une petite poignée.
Just so that you can relate to it. Just so that, yeah, you went to a place today, this is what you are, and this is what it looks like.
Juste pour que vous l'ayez, puis que vous dites, ah, ben, je suis allée là, puis j'ai appris sur le chambre, c'est ça.
So this fiber, right here, manufactured out of those seeds, can be made into these things.
Et cette fibre décortiquée peut se transformer dans ça.
As you see, this is for a 2x4 frame building.
Donc, c'est ça le béton de chambre qui peut faire des bâtiments isolés, magnifiques, anti-feu.
They're made to interlock with one another.
Donc, ils sont déjà préfabriqués d'une façon qu'ils sont des briques qui s'unissent l'un avec l'autre.
They have a greater R value, if you know what that is, insulation value, than regular insulation.
Donc, il y a une valeur d'isolation beaucoup plus élevée qu'un brique régulier.
And plus, it's completely fireproof.
Et si il y a un feu dans votre maison, elle ne va pas brûler. C'est anti-feu.
Now, this one is for a 6x frame building, and we use it, you know, we move it around a lot, so it's been falling apart, so.
Et ça, c'est pour un cadre beaucoup plus épais, comme vous pouvez le voir. Et c'est la même chose, c'est juste qu'on le bouge beaucoup, donc il tombe des petits morceaux.
So they can be preformed
Donc, ils peuvent être préfabriqués aussi
to make blocks like this,
pour faire des blocs comme ça,
that then makes for easy construction,
qui facilitent la construction d'une maison.
cheap construction, because you can basically grow your construction material.
Et qui peut vraiment réduire les coûts parce que c'est vous-même qui peut faire bosser votre matériel de construction.
This is another, in another state. This is also fireproof.
Et ça, c'est aussi une autre méthode d'isolation.
Well, of course, if you went like and had a lighter and went around the little places that would catch, so it's used as a blanket, like an insulation.
Et à partir de ces fibres-là, on peut aussi faire des couvertures. Ça peut être aussi pour la construction en tant qu'isolation, mais aussi pour les vêtements.
Now, of course, I don't think anybody would be comfortable wearing this shirt or something, not this.
C'est sûr qu'à cet état dur là, pur là, c'est pas confort pour des vêtements. Là.
But as you know, hemp clothes, hemp shirts, hemp pants, hemp this, hemp that, hemp everything.
Mais vous savez qu'il y a du tissu qui peut se faire à partir de ça.
Because Mother Earth needs it.
Parce que Maman Terre en a besoin.
Everything that you can, what you're doing right now, can be done with hemp.
Et tout ce que vous faites en ce moment peut être fait à partir de chambre.
Anything that you look at in this room,
N'importe quoi dans cette chambre-là.
except for the windows, I guess, can pretty much be done with hemp. The
Ouais.
only thing right now is that you have a whole infrastructure, you have invested your own tax dollars, your energy, into an infrastructure of destruction. So if you want to build a house, let's say if you wanted to build a patio deck this weekend, you're going to the hardware, you're going there, all the stuff is there, you know, you got it in your mind that there's an infrastructure there for me to be able to build a patio deck.
Et c'est juste que tout le monde a payé les impôts, puis cet argent-là a été utilisé pour créer une infrastructure qui est plus pour la destruction. Admettons, si vous voulez construire quelque chose dans votre gazon, je sais pas, un petit étagé, et là, vous allez à Chirona ou chez n'importe quel quincaillerie, et il y a tous les matériaux de construction.
There's no infrastructure for this.
Mais pour le chambre, vous n'allez pas le trouver là.
You, otherwise, when you, or maybe your boyfriend or your husband, or maybe your father or grandfather wants to build a patio deck, they're going to the hardware store, they're buying trees that were, you had to cut down, for the lumber. Hemp, you can grow hemp in 1 year to grow.
Donc, à la quincaillerie, votre mari, votre père peuvent acheter du matériel qui vient des arbres qui ont été coupés, ça a déforesté une forêt, mais le chanvre, ça va pousser dans juste une saison, puis ça va donner le même matériel que les arbres de la forêt.
And on top of all of that, plus a lot more, you can eat it.
Et en plus, vous pouvez le manger.
So imagine, you're building materials. If you get hungry, like you can eat your house almost, like that kind of thing.
Donc, si vous avez faim, vous pouvez manger votre maison.
Not that really, but
Mais non.
you know, the seeds, you know, what they use, how to use it, hemp parts and stuff.
Il y a des hemp oil. Il y a des, comment on appelle ça, la cœur de chanvre. Il y a aussi de l'huile pressée des semences de chanvre. L'huile, il peut nettoyer les articulations, etc.
Anti-inflammatory, c'est anti-inflammatoire. You can, with oil, you can like even fabricate soap and like cream for your face, for your hair, all kind of stuff.
Beauty products.
Yeah, I use it. Avec le chanvre aussi, avec l'huile, tu peux faire des savons, des crèmes pour le visage, des huiles pour les cheveux, j'en utilise moi-même.
Et tout ce qui est les plastiques aussi, là, il peut y avoir des composites à partir du chanvre pour que ça soit compostable et pas dommageable pour l'environnement. Tout ce qui est plastique peut être fait à partir de ça. So also plastics, they can come from there. Everything that is made like, containers or something, they can be out of hemp, so they can be decomposable after.
And don't forget, like we said, when the pirates first came here 500 years ago, their sails were made out of hemp. You could even make stuff like this. This would be out of hemp. You're going to buy a flag for whatever, Quebec Day or whatever, Quebec flag. It would be made out of hemp.
Et comme on a dit, quand les pirates sont venus avec leur voile, qui était fait en chambre. Donc, même des drapeaux comme ça, si vous allez fêter la Saint-Jean, vous pouvez avoir un drapeau qui vient du champ.
Okay, I know that this sounds, like kind of hippie-ish, like that kind of sense, like it sounds kind of utopian type of thing.
Et je sais que vous entendez ça et vous allez dire, oh, mais la gang des hippies, là, qui sont des rêveurs utopiques, là, comme ça.
Me too. That's the reason why I'm saying it, because it seems kind of hippie-ish.
Et c'est pour ça que je le dis, parce que ça me semble hippie moi-même.
But when we're looking at solutions that we must apply to absolutely everything, just think, when we talked about the environment earlier, what is it that you imagine? As you know, when we went into debt, now you can just start to see the tip of the iceberg. What's in my mind when I talk about environment, things that you could never have imagined before.
Et donc maintenant, vous pouvez voir la profondeur à laquelle je pense en termes de l'environnement, peut-être des choses que vous n'avez pas considérées avant. I just want to also add, là, ça me fait penser aussi que Ford, à un moment donné, il a fait une auto en chambre et il était beaucoup plus résistant que l'acier. Et aujourd'hui, il y a un monde qui fait aussi des avions en chambre. Donc, ça prendrait juste de faire vraiment une industrie de plantation et de transformation pour aider à guérir comme toute une boucle d'économie circulaire guérisseuse et pas destructrice. So I'm just saying that it makes me think that Ford also created a car that was made out of hemp that was more resistant than iron. And also that nowadays there's people that do airplanes made out of hemp. So it will take just to really transform a circular economy and energy in the sense that instead of doing something that is destroying, from the planting to the transformation, it could be really something healing instead.
Yeah, Ford made a car made out of hemp. When? You know when?
Est-ce que vous savez quand est-ce que Ford aurait fait son auto de chambre?
In the 1930s.
Dans les années 1930.
The whole car was made out of hemp, stronger than steel.
Toute la voiture faite de chambre, plus résistante que l'acier.
Doesn't rust. So you can see the reason why the automobile industry said no to hemp. Because, well, not just the automobile industry, the steel industry, all the within government, all the people that lobby government. Hey, hemp, we can't have that on cars because then we're going to lose billions of dollars raping our Mother Earth.
Et ben, vous pouvez voir pourquoi que l'industrie automotrice a dit non, mais là, l'acier, il s'oxyde, pas le chanvre, donc on ne peut pas se permettre d'avoir une auto qui va durer toute la vie. Il faut les rendre obsolètes pour continuer à en vendre, sinon on va perdre de l'argent, nous autres.
And there is even more. Now, this here, I can't say for certain. In a lot of it, I can say for certain. But like I said earlier, I'm not the expert in this field. I'm just the one saying this is what we got to do. It's like if your doctor told you got to start exercising, well then you're the one that's got to start exercising, not the doctor.
Et là, il y a quelque chose que je vais dire, mais je ne suis pas certain. Comme je vous dis, ça c'est de la connaissance que j'ai. Il y a des choses que je suis certain, mais c'est comme plus approfondi, c'est les biclettes.
So lately what we've been hearing is that even for electric cars, the problems they have with batteries and that kind of stuff, now they're saying even that they can make batteries out of hemp.
Et là, ils disent dernièrement que tous les problèmes avec les batteries pour les voitures électriques et tout ce qui est électrique qui s'enflamme, etc., ils disent qu'ils peuvent faire des batteries sécuritaires à partir de chanvre aussi.
Okay, but let's say that's not possible. Let's say right now maybe it's just stuff that AI is messing with our minds and it's putting it on social media.
Mais admettons que c'est pas possible, c'est juste l'algorithme qui nous essaye de convaincre des choses qui sont même pas possibles.
All of you think like with your phones that you have today, you think back to those flip phones and you think those were ancient, you know, that's like, carrying on a walkie-talkie or something.
Là, aujourd'hui, tout le monde a des téléphones intelligents, puis si on a quelque chose qui est flip, là, on dit, ah, c'est de la vieille époque, là.
When I was a kid, growing up in the mid-60s, watching Star Trek, they flip open this little thing, and it's their communicator, hey, Scotty, beat me up, whatever. That's their phone. Back then, nobody would think cell phones ever in the future would be a possibility. They just thought this was a concept in the mind. It's what we would like to do for convenience for us humans. This tells us, knowing that it has actually come to being, that anything we come up with, we can make it happen. We could find the way to do it. So if we wanted to make electric vehicles, their batteries out of hemp, we could find a way to do it, because look at this thing, how small it is. Again, a force of nature. Thermonuclear reaction within this thing, once that seed cracks open and the life force within it, there is energy within there. We could figure it out. If we wanted to make a battery out of it, we could figure it out.
Donc, en bout de ligne, n'importe quoi qu'on rêve, on peut le rendre possible.
Okay, so, I don't know if anybody's got any questions on it. I mean, if you wanna say anything,
Alors, je sais
anybody
pas
will
si,
send a feller that way if there is.
s'il y a des questions, des commentaires, quelque chose que vous voudrez dire, on peut envoyer la plume comme ça.
Maybe not just question, maybe if there's something that you wanna say about it. Maybe it caused you to think one other thought that you never had before. And if you wanna share it.
Quelque chose que ça a déclenché.
I'll just quickly share my visit last week. I mangeais dans leur Jalmant's granddaughter Janine, great-granddaughter of Marianne, and the Turtle Pen temporary representative in the LifeGivers Nation. Je m'appelle Angèle, je suis la fille de Jalmant, petite fille de Janine, petite fille de Marianne, et je fais partie de la nation des donneuses de vie en tant que représentante temporaire du clan de last week I went to Haut Richelieu, visit a hemp house. That was built by Alcan. It's like a collaborator that taught us how to do this hempcrete. We did it ourselves. La semaine passée, je suis allée à une maison en chambre qui a été bâtie par la compagnie Alcan. Et c'est un collaborateur de nous qui nous a montré à créer ce hempcrete, le béton de chambre. And the main feeling I got from it is like it feels really good. It feels like fresh. It's a hard to describe feeling. C'est juste pour rapporter comment je me suis sentie dans la maison. C'est vraiment un sentiment de quelque chose de sain. On se sent bien, tu sais, même c'est moins cool. Tu sais, c'est comme feutré, c'est chaleureux. It's like warm and less echo. They do like music. Studios with hemp, like isolation from hemp. Ils font des studios musique avec du chant. So I just wanted to report that because once you experience this, it's like I really want it in my house. Un coup que tu l'expérimentes, si tu veux vraiment dans ta maison, and they can renovate with hempcrete. It's just that it doesn't go higher than 11 feet. So from like the second floor, you would put like a hemp installation, but not hempcrete, la laine. Laine de chambre. No, that's isolation, like the pink one, but with hemp. It's I don't remember the term.
Almost like that.
Yeah,
It's a mix of the
thicker.
material that you spray on.
It's thicker. It's just like it's the same as what we use right now, but it's hemp. I don't know the term in English. En français, c'est de la laine de chanvre parce que tu peux mettre du béton de chanvre jusqu'à 11 pieds. Plus que ça fonctionne pas parce que c'est une question de structure. Donc, à plus qu'11 pieds, tu vas mettre de la laine de chanvre dans les deuxièmes étages. Fait que tu peux quand même isoler au chanvre. C'est juste un petit peu moins isolant que le béton de chanvre. Mais c'est un matériau simple. Donc, what I'm saying is that it's same like a healthy material in the house. It lasts like hundreds of years. Like if you build your house with hemp, it could last like 150 years. Si tu construis ta maison en chambre, ça dure éternellement. Quasiment, ça dure 150 ans facile. Compared to today, that it's over 30 years, and now you have to do it again. right now and everything is made to cheap and not last. C'est comparé à aujourd'hui, ce qu'on met dans les maisons dure à peu près 30 ans pour toujours commencer. Ça dure très longtemps. So what I wanted to share, c'est ce que je voulais partager.
Just to add to that, what seems to be a little problem with like how high you can go with the hempcrete, of course, that could always be adjusted with different construction techniques. You know, you put a header beam in there and then you just continue with your hempcrete. Just the same way that you build a 100-story building, like years ago, you see it be all bricks. Wonder how could a 10 or 20-story building be all bricks? Well, that's because they got header beams there and then the rest on there, so that could easily be adjusted. Okay, I just want to share one thing, when you said this, that you like you couldn't explain the feeling, a good feeling. I have an equal opposite there. You know the story, please don't. You know the story, so just to say that when you have an example of something on one side, if there's an equal opposite example, then it helps to have a better comprehension.
Et donc, par rapport à la question des structures, c'est sûr qu'on peut mettre comme des poteaux qui peuvent redonner une meilleure structure pour continuer à bâtir comme ça. Ben, ça, c'est comme parenthèse. Mais quand tu as dit que tu ne pouvais pas comme mettre des mots sur le bon feeling que tu as senti quand tu étais dans la maison, c'est sûr qu'on peut comparer à des opposés. Donc là, j'ai un exemple à donner en relation à ça.
When I was around 19, 20 years old, I was an iron worker and my union sent me out to work on a nuclear power plant.
Et j'ai été un constructeur de l'acier, j'étais associée au syndicat, puis j'avais genre 19 ans, puis on m'a envoyé à travailler à un endroit.
Dans une usine nucléaire.
Dans une usine nucléaire.
And I had a problem with it.
Et j'avais clairement un problème avec ça.
So when I got to the job, the boss told me what to do, he's go do this, you know, and I just stayed standing there and I didn't really know. I was young. You know, so I really didn't know what to do, what to say. I just knew that there was something wrong. And he turned around and he told me, he says, hey, I told you what to go and do, go do it. And I said, no. I says, I'm not working. I'm not working on a nuclear power plant. He says, you can lay me off, you can fire me, I don't care. But this was at a time, 1982, 81. So this was just a year after Ronald Reagan got in and caused a recession. Nobody had any work. There was no work. So here I had, iron workers make good money. And the only job I had was on a nuclear power plant. I had to say no. I couldn't take that money. They kept me working there. I was going in for 2 months. Kept me going in. I wasn't doing nothing. I'm lifting weights on the job, doing nothing, wandering around. After 2 months, I said, the hell with this, I'm just gonna stay home. So they paid me for 6 months. Because they just wanted me to have enough time to collect unemployment, because that's what they done. They caused it to the economy. And through them causing it to the economy, they attacked the environment. And I didn't feel good about that. That's a spiritual energy. And that can be measured scientifically in the way that you feel. And you don't need to go to see a therapist to talk about that feeling. You don't have to go and see a scientist to tell you that, no, it's not true. You are the scientist. You know when you're doing something that's not right, you're not gonna have a good feeling. When you're doing something that is right, even if you don't understand it.
À l'usine nucléaire, moi, je ne voulais pas travailler là-dedans, donc le boss me disait, vas-y, fais ça à l'usine. Puis, avant, j'allais travailler, je faisais des poids tous les jours, mais là, après, j'ai juste arrêté d'y aller. Puis, on a continué à me payer pour me donner le bénéfice d'emploi. Merci. Puis après, c'est juste que c'est eux qui ont provoqué cette affaire-là, mais tu sais, tout ça pour dire, quand on n'est pas à l'aise avec quelque chose parce qu'on sait que c'est pas correct, c'est notre propre être qui va nous le dire, fait que c'est ça ce que j'ai fait. Donc, on peut sentir bon feeling, le mauvais feeling, le suivre.
Okay, so we're going to continue passing the file again. If you don't want to say anything, you don't have to, you can just pass it on.
Donc, on va passer là-dessus. Si vous n'avez rien à dire, vous pouvez tout simplement le passer. C'est pas obligé.
Moi, je voulais dire que quand j'étais à l'université l'année dernière,
Oh, you gotta hold the feather.
Ah.
That's why we passed you the feather.
Quand j'étais à l'université, ben, j'étais en train de finir mon bac. Puis là, j'étais dans un, en tout cas, bref, j'étais dans un cours comme d'entrepreneuriat un peu. Puis on était comme mélangé plusieurs personnes de différentes facultés, tout ça. Il y avait une fille qui, elle, elle avait étudié l'architecture. Puis elle me parlait comment est-ce que, ben, tu sais, elle voulait comme starter une compagnie. Puis elle voulait voir comment elle pouvait s'associer ou pas avec des gens. Mais elle, c'était sur la base, c'était écologique. Puis elle voulait utiliser des matériaux comme ça, comme le chanvre. Puis là, j'étais comme, puis c'est la première fois que j'ai comme entendu parler, tu sais, du chanvre. Là, j'étais comme, ah, c'est dommage spécial, tu sais. Là, je suis allée voir, j'ai recherché un peu, puis effectivement, je me suis rendu compte qu'il y avait beaucoup de choses qui se faisaient avec le chanvre, tout ça. Puis, non, c'est ça. Puis, je pense que justement, ça a comme un futur, parce qu'il y a des personnes, justement, qui sont intéressées par ça, puis qui voient une valeur, tu sais, à travailler avec ça. Puis, ouais, c'est ça. Puis, moi, tu sais, en tout cas, je pense que oui, je pense que c'est des belles opportunités, effectivement. Puis, c'est juste quelque chose qui se fait, là. Dans le fond, moi, j'étais à l'Université de Sherbrooke. Fait que peut-être que, tu sais, dans quelques années, ça va commencer une nouvelle compagnie, que ce soit sur construire avec son application.
That's good. She's talking about the fact that she was at university and she saw a woman talking about like healthy materials for houses and then hemp, and then she started looking at this and discovered all the benefits from hemp and then see the possibilities about developing it. And the woman that she saw was looking for collaborators to start a company and to build like healthy houses. I don't even know how to translate that, but still with the same material that and that she can tell that it's something that people are interested in to learn more about this and develop this more.
So you have your own experience right now, knowing, you can tell, you can feel it. There's a future for all people if we take action to save Mother Earth. And to get there, hemp is the future.
Donc, on peut voir un futur pour tous les gens, pour prendre soin de l'environnement, et le chanvre, ben, la voie.
But if we continue on the path that we're on with all the regular construction materials and everything the way that it is, all contributing to the big negatives, well, there ain't gonna be a future. Do we trust the science, what the IPCC statement is? So you are in a quagmire right now of you gotta move, but everybody's moving the wrong direction. So the quagmire for you is to get yourself turned around from going that way and start going in the right direction.
Et donc, si on continue dans la même voie qu'on est maintenant, ben, ça va vers la destruction. Donc, on voit l'évidence qui doit être faite, mais si tout le monde continue vers la mauvaise direction, et ça appartient à chaque individu de se sortir de là, puis en prendre le chemin pour la combattre.
Okay, so we'll keep the feather going around.
On va continuer à passer la pilule.
Je vais tout simplement remercier le président François. Est-ce que, initialement, on arrive avec un discours beaucoup de. Fait qu'on n'a même pas le même langage, justement, fait qu'après ça, comment on peut se comprendre, puis après, arriver à reconstruire, puis à reconnecter, justement, puis le chanvre, c'est quand même une solution qui nous permet de aussi reconnecter avec la nature, puis merci de partager ça. I can also do the translation. Basically, I also had a bit of the feeling that it's hard to be in this world where we don't necessarily feel like the comprehension, and the fact that hemp actually gets us back to reconnecting with nature. I find it's a really interesting solution, and I was also thanking you guys for just everything you shared today. So yeah.
Oh, yeah, we'll go on. Yeah.
Well, gee, I just apologize for coming a bit late, but I was listening to this in
car because you can put Facebook and connect it to your speaker. And so I'm hearing all this, and at red lights, and I could take the phone and look. I was trying to look at the 2x4s, but they looked a bit small. But anyways, I've heard this a little bit before because we collaborated for quite a number of years together. And I was just thinking that there's this lady there, her name's Roxanne Savignac. She was at the University of Sherbrooke. Now she's a private consultant for on the South Shore here. There's some kind of environmental consulting firm that she works for. She very named Savignac, Roxanne, and she wrote with the Vermont, and I think it must have been either New York State or maybe it was even North Dakota, because in Manitoba, they're pretty advanced in the agricultural, the food type of hemp production. In Alberta, it seems that they have that too, but even more industrial hemp. And the people at the Traditional Council did a live Zoom with one of the guys out in Alberta that has a lot of hemp growth experience from Poland, I think. And he's helped through research, what do you call it, incubate, I know how to say that in English. Yeah, research incubation, you know, that the governments, they sponsor these kind of government sponsored and private sponsored research, you know, startups. And they've looked into a lot of applications for hemp. And there's a young guy named Aaron something that has built a factory to process the industrial hemp. And one of the things I go back to Roxanne's study that she worked with like agronomists and all these people in Quebec that did know what needs to be done just to grow the hemp. If you can't get 10 farmers that have at least 50 acres of hemp growth, each one, so you need about 500 acres of hemp production for industrial hemp. It doesn't make any sense to have a machine to process all that. But if you got enough people that are producing the hemp in quantity, then it justifies the economics. I thought that this was a little bit about circular economy. This comes to the day, and that it's economy, right? You gotta have enough. The guys that we know, we've been to visit them out in former asbestos valley source. They import their hemp from France, but there's people in Quebec that are growing it. And I just came back from Gaspésie because someone in my family, my wife's family passed away. We had to go out for the funeral, and I met a guy that used to be a serviceman for New Holland tractors and combines and all that. And he knows about hemp in the Rimouski area because they're always getting calls. They have to modify the machinery to handle the thickness of the stem makes it really difficult for the machine, so they have to modify stuff. But it's doable, So why I'm saying all this is that we're talking about real things, like we're looking at. I actually could see the hempcrete on my phone. That's still out, right? So I says, wow, this is amazing, because we're really talking about a real thing, a real new economy that's coming. And the last thing I should say is, from what I know, people have been doing this for thousands of years. So why do we have to reinvent the hemp that's always been there? Because we have the kind of a capitalistic economy that makes everybody a competitor and it busts everything up. And then everybody we can't be generalists. It's illegal to be a generalist, So it's almost like illegal to be a general practitioner, So,
This is where what he just identified, where we said about the infrastructure has to be there. You gotta create it, you gotta push it, because if you pay your taxes to a government that is causing the problems and not addressing it, not fixing it, then you can demand where your tax dollars go to. You should just stand out and say, hey, I don't want my tax dollars going to war. I'd rather have my tax dollars going to subsidize a machine in this region that could accommodate, let's say, small town. The idea here for us to think about is little satellite duplicates of this anyways in each community where you could grow it in your backyard. You could take a bundle and go bring it to one place there, collective, and have maybe within the people who are all participating to say, okay, this year we're gonna build a house for this person. And then next year, a house for this person, but everybody's gotta work together on it, but the government has to subsidize that. Because as you know, the government subsidized every other industry that is poisoning the earth. So you, and especially life givers, demand of your government to subsidize something that's gonna heal the earth. Get these, because a decorticator, like for the machinery that he's talking about, costs
2
3
million
to
at
4
least.
million.
Like, the machine only could cost 1 million, but if you have the whole like factory setup, it's like 5 to 6 million.
So it's millions of dollars, and when you're thinking, starting out, that you could do it. But you're not a millionaire. I could do it, but I'm not a millionaire. So we could do it and have it all there, but we don't have the machine to process it. That's where people need help. That's where we need each other's. Anyways.
Okay, I'm just gonna make a little risky picture. Donc, si on nous parle d'une femme qui est une chercheuse qui était à l'Université de Sherbrooke, qui a écrit tout un article sur le chanvre au Québec, au Canada, mais que dans le fond, là, ça prend vraiment une grande quantité de terre et de fermiers qui vont planter pour que ça commence à faire une économie circulaire. Donc, on peut vraiment parler avec substance, là, parce que c'est sûr qu'on peut planter dans notre cour en arrière, mais jusqu'au temps qu'on ait vraiment la machine à décortiquer puis créer comme tout le système qui va avec pour transformer. Et là, on parle des millions. Mais tu sais, après, je vais en parler après. It makes me think of the guy in Texas that, you know, it's feasible to do it. Mais tu sais, dans le fond, ça prendrait comme des subventions du gouvernement et que ça soit vraiment les citoyens qui vont pousser pour le dire, arrêtez, si on finançait des industries polluantes comme, je ne sais pas moi, tu sais, des batteries électriques ou du pétrole, pourquoi pas qu'on peut investir dans des industries guérissantes de la planète. Et c'est là que je veux faire la parenthèse. That's where I'm going to do the parenthesis. On connaît un gars au Texas qui était un vieux oil tycoon, tu sais, il investissait dans le pétrole, puis il a transformé son industrie pour que ça soit du chanvre. Puis il a créé vraiment toute une économie satellite, de fait de produits de nettoyage, en fait, pour le corps, etc. Il fait aussi pour des nourritures. Puis il s'associe avec différentes personnes. Donc, tu sais, ça peut être aussi profitable pour quelqu'un qui cherchait de l'argent pour aller investir au pétrole, mais à la place, il est allé investir dans le chanvre. Donc, ça peut se faire aussi comme ça. So this guy, you know, he was an oil tycoon, invested in oil. And then he realized, okay, I'm killing the planet, I want to do something good. So he invested his own money to create like a satellite, like what you were saying, because he furnishes, also provides for healthcare products. He associated himself with other people. So there's also the part of the food. So it's like a satellite, you know, industry that he created himself, realizing that he wanted to do that and he actually did that, you know. So it can be even profitable for somebody that is looking for money, but as long as it's fun. So, yeah.
There you go.
Je voulais juste vous remercier pour la présentation, c'est vraiment très intéressant. Et aussi, par le sens, je pense que c'est facile d'oublier qu'il y a de vraies solutions. Tu sais, moi-même, je suis dans l'environnement, puis des fois, on peut juste être tellement découragé de l'état du monde qu'on fait. On fait juste regarder les nouvelles, ce qui se passe. Moi, dans la compagnie du travail, bien avant, qui est découragé, mais se rappeler qu'il y a des personnes tous les jours sur les terrains qui ont des bonnes solutions qui mettent en place et qui font avancer.
She said she want to thank you for this presentation because it's she worked in the environmental firm, and then she said that nothing advanced, but to see that there's people on the ground that do projects that make things advance in this field, that it makes her happy, and it's just
Okay, but that's not us. We don't do those things. All we do is we're pushing the information out there. There's some that we're doing, you know, this year, like we said, we're starting to plant and produce, but we still buy the seeds ourselves and we give them away for free. So that's a cost out of our pocket. We don't charge nobody for that. So we give that away because that's what we gotta do. So each of you gotta figure out what you gotta do. You know, what you gotta do to make this happen. But also, along the lines of what you were just saying, just to add to it. What we do is we go to, different places like the Laval, the city of Laval. We've gone to Levy, Quebec City, different places. We're pushing for, we've been meeting with the city of Laval for 3 years now. It's 3 years, right? So, you know, the first time we went there, we held up HempUnitiy. Oh, yeah, okay. And the second time we come back, HempUnitiy. Oh, okay, what about it? Third time we go back, HempUnitiy. Oh, okay, maybe we'll adjust this. So each time it's getting a little closer and closer, because when you're thinking of having a city make a move that is actually considered to be illegal, but how can hemp be illegal? And especially when we know that it is the only medicine that could heal, like we said, a silver bullet that heals many things all at once. So anyways, this is what we do. We'll go out there, you gotta do that too. You should do that too. You could assist us in doing that, which assists the people on the ground. And these are the people who are actually changing an economy. From destruction to not destruction.
Donc, Stéphane, je fais donc ça. C'est en fait juste la transmission de l'information parce que les gens qui font ça, qui travaillent directement avec ça, ben, ils se bénéficient du fait que ça soit plus connu. Mais c'est dans le fond, chacune et chacun a divisé et c'est qu'on peut faire pour le coup.
Thank you for your teaching and sharing today. I come from south of the border, and I do a lot of my work in Minnesota. And I work with people who have been working with hemp for years. It was legalized in Minnesota in 2017, which is a grow. So there's an indigenous farmer on the white earth nation who's been experimenting with hemp and building industries with hemp and working on hempcrete. There's a black farmer in northern Minnesota who's been growing hemp for the raw materials. In 2017, and I had a training farm in agricultural college and training students of the next generation who've been growing hemp since 2018. And what I appreciate about today is, my friend who's from the white earth nation, like you, this is the silver bullet. He's been saying this for many years. And I think I needed somebody else to say it too. So now that I'm hearing another person say it, I am excited to go back. Because I just did an environmental justice fundraising project to make sure there's money every year to support local solutions to environmental challenges. So I will go back to my communities and think about connecting us around HempUnitiy and see if we can take some of that money we just raised and build one of these hempcrete facilities. Because I'm very excited about this. We have a housing crisis, all over the planet, but very bad in the United States. And so I'm excited about this potential solution, particularly the circular economy work, which I think is critical to our future. Thank you.
So, il dit merci pour la possibilité de discuter au propos de ça. Il dit, je viens d'ici de la frontière du Minnesota et en 2017, ça a été légalisé, le chanvre. Donc, il a parlé d'une nation, j'ai pas compris le nom par exemple, mais une nation là-bas, quelqu'un qui encourage le chanvre, qui en parle à tout le monde. Et il y a aussi un fermier noir qui plante du chanvre. En tout cas, il y a toutes sortes de personnes là-bas. Et ce qu'il dit, c'est qu'il trouve ça le fun parce que à l'époque, il y a une communauté autochtone qui en parle, une personne, puis là, il va y avoir une deuxième personne qui parle de ça. C'est encourageant. Il dit, je veux retourner dans ma communauté et là, vraiment utiliser parce qu'il y a lancé une campagne de financement pour, dans le fond, financer des projets environnementaux. Puis il dit, je voudrais prendre cet argent-là pour bâtir l'usine de transformation du chanvre et vraiment mettre ça de l'avant. Donc, il est super content d'avoir eu l'information aujourd'hui.
Okay, just to adjust that networking concept. We'll say to anybody, is the Facebook thing there?
Yeah.
If you contact us, check out our Facebook page, send me a message just saying, HempUnitiy agenda. I'm interested in the HempUnitiy, or just interested in hemp. And then from there, we can go exchange emails because, like we said, we ain't anything in it. But there is a lot of people who have been established in it, making money at it already, like established in it, who are we're kind of becoming a hub for like a network of different people who are already in it. Thing is, it's like in Minnesota, like in other places in Vermont and in Winnipeg, in that area, it's being done, but it's not like, it's not known. It's gotta be known. It's gotta be advertised. You know, if you wanna produce something or you wanna accomplish something, you gotta advertise. Yeah, you could have a slow grass movement, you know, grassroots movement. But when we go back to the IPCC statement of 2017, identifying 2030, just 5 years from now, which scientists involved in the IPCC statement just released a statement again, I don't know, a few months back, I think it might have been around December, that their calculations may have been wrong, that it may be sooner than what they estimated. So if sooner, they're talking about 5 years from now, and they're saying it may be sooner, well, then just wonder, how much sooner is it? Is it 4 years? 3, 2, 1? How much time you got? So we gotta network like crazy. We need a hemp army. We need people to stand arm to arm like this and say, we're gonna plant hemp, we're gonna heal Mother Earth, so that everybody knows why you're doing it. Because hemp is a magic force of creation in herself. Because what it does is it brings people together. Hemp isn't like anything else where it's gonna be like commodified and exploited. You can do it, but it's gonna be like the native people with great resistance, and we're gonna fight you. And hemp is gonna fight you also. But if you love hemp and you're friendly to it and you're conducive with it and you're doing it for the right reasons, that's how we will prosper together. So networking, that's the army of people that we need. So not to say that we need to be the hub, no, you can contact us and maybe you're gonna tell us, hey, here's the hub, and we'll connect to them. And then everybody's gonna be the hub, but they'll be the hub to be the impetus to the healing of our Mother Earth.
En bout de ligne, il faut connecter des réseaux plus vite, urgemment.
I just wanted to add that this really speaks a lot to me, and I really I'm on the same page as you guys, and I really I can see all like how this can all go, you know, and try to find like solutions and just visualize like what's gonna be for the next years and the earth and everything. And I can see so many like networks being created, because I've also I also know that it's been used in Colombia. I come from Colombia. I know like there are startups early in Cali where they're making houses out of hemp. And well, you guys are talking about Minnesota, and then we've got, you know, the girl I just told you about. And so I can really see us like, you know, doing a network and yeah, like why not? Like of course it's happened in the mind, and after it happens in real life, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's it. That's a little bit of it. But yeah, I just wanted to say it, like, yeah.
Mais partage à propos du fait que ça l'inspire beaucoup parce qu'elle vient de la Colombie puis elle dit qu'à Cali, là-bas, il y a des gens qui construisent des maisons en chambre, donc elle voit vraiment la possibilité d'avoir un réseau où tout le monde se connecte, peut parler des projets un peu partout dans le monde.
Yes.
Okay, so when you say that, yeah, we need a network. So if we started from right now, no network, there's a lot of work we gotta do to create a network. What if there was already a little bit of a network already there that you didn't know about? We already have a line of communication that we have opened up over the past 7 years with original peoples from north to south that addresses all issues. We speak on behalf of the non-native people because we know that they cannot address, they cannot conclude, they cannot fix anything. They're just something that's happening. So they need to be addressed also as to being directed through this network. So we established this network through the reconstitution of the eagle and the condor, the original peoples in the south, the original peoples in the north. And we've been working at this now for 7 years. We've been meeting. First, it was once a moon. for about a year to a year and a half, and then it wasn't enough. We had to start meeting every new moon and every full moon. So twice a moon we meet. And this is what Original Peoples, and we established a network there, and we've exchanged seeds with people there, and they've got contacts with non-native people who are, maybe we already have some way are connected to the people that you're talking about there, and we just don't know it together. So the purpose of networking becomes greater, you know, than like to say that's what we need, or not greater. It becomes more personal than to say that's what we need. We make it happen. You are the network. So without you, there's no network.
Ben, dans le fond, on a un processus qui s'appelle la reconstitution de l'aigle de Condor, qui a été entamé à partir de 2018. Puis c'est justement pour réunir tous les peuples originaires du sud et du nord pour qu'ils se partagent des choses, ils se remémorent des connaissances. Fait que peut-être qu'on est déjà même en contact et on ne sait pas. Donc c'est vraiment bon qu'on soit ici pour savoir c'est quoi notre capacité de réseauter, peut-être même au-delà de ce qu'on a des consciences.
And for on anything, further information, like you said, you can just look here at our page and you send a message, and just to say, interested in hemp, met you at this place or whatever, because we meet a lot of people, and to be able to know and to relate to who we're talking about, and that's what that way.
Donc, juste envoyer un petit message en disant on s'est rencontrés à la Maison des citoyens de St Michel et on est sur le champ.
Okay, as far as you know, the three of us, is there any, the four of us, anything we left out, all of us, anything we left out on this?
Probably, but I don't think.
Don't forget, none of us are the experts. Together, we're the expert, all of us collectively. So that's what we do. We tap into our collective consciousness. So you know something, I know something. But you know just that, and I know just this. When we put it together, we know much more. So if there's nothing else that we've forgotten, I think we addressed quite a few things here today. I mean, obviously, if you went to anywhere else, like a hemp meeting, you know, hemp or whatever, you wouldn't get the presentation that we gave you today, because for me to have a conversation, I have to know that we are talking on the same level. So we have to present all of this to have to know that we'll have the foundational knowledge to be able to communicate properly with this.
Et donc, si vous étiez allé à une convention sur le chambre, peut-être ça aurait pas été la même préparation, mais parce que pour moi, il faut que je fasse le préambule pour savoir qu'on peut interagir au même niveau.
Okay, so Mother Earth has many issues confronting her, as you know. We are doing it. It's not that something's happening to her. No, we're doing it. So you can't say, well, something's happening over there, whatever, you know. No, it's happening over there. It's happening right where you are. It's happening by you. It's happening by us. It's happening by every human on Earth. So every human on Earth has to rise to address this thing, whatever anyone perceives it to be as, you know, whatever the issue is. What is it? Maybe it's something that you're adjusting, like say, deaths, the way that people pass on. I'd say I think everybody in here would consider themselves to be an environmentalist. If there's anybody here who would say no, if you don't consider you being an environmentalist, say no, I'm not. Okay, so pretty much everybody would consider themselves to be environmentalists. But here's what you're gonna do when you die. This is what you will do. You are gonna get embalmed with poison if you are buried. So either you're buried or you're cremated. But if you're buried, you're gonna get autopsied, have all your guts taken out, your brains taken out, all of that. You get stuff full of newspaper. They're gonna sew you up, but they're gonna embalm your body to preserve it, full of poison, full of toxin, and then they're gonna plant you in the earth. You're gonna get buried into the earth. So if you're an environmentalist standing there all your life about Mother Earth, your last act upon Mother Earth is gonna contradict your entire existence. So this is where we gotta say everything is connected to hemp. Everything. Everything is connected to everything that we talked about today, rooted foundation in a proper council process of life givers and life protectors. There is a separate council process for the women. You just don't know it. In your world, it has been stolen from you, and for thousands of years, you've been just going like this, unable to get any kind of satisfaction, because your energy needs to go like this. But you are stuck in the corruption of democracy, the corruption of religion. You're stuck in these things for thousands of years. You know that your history, try to identify what your history is. It's things that you remember, right? Then what do you remember? Then everything about your history is about war. Everything is about war. Even your heroes are murderers. They killed people. Imagine you allow your children to worship, hero worship, people who kill people. And even if it's not real soldiers that kill people that they worship like heroes, then it's in the movies. And they're killing people left and right by the bazillions. You know, you're a hero if you kill 100 people with one death ray out of your eyes or something. You know, and that's basically what it's coming down to. Humans have the death rate. Anything we're going to look at on Mother Earth to exploit, it's dead. We've killed it just in that instance that we've sent out somebody to survey it. Like Lewis and Clark. A lot of people don't even know what Lewis and Clark is anymore. You know, what they were, what they represented. Now, in the non-native side, you have a perception of Lewis and Clark as being good. That they were a good, what do you call it, explorative mission. So you consider it good because it was basically the beginnings of where the colonies were, where people were able to go and live. But Lewis and Clark, what they did is they went there and they said, okay, there's gold, there's silver, there's this, there's that. Okay, let's move the people there. They're gonna go and extract this. We're gonna send in our mining companies. We're gonna tax them. And you got a whole system of corruption that you're all a part of. And that's where our perception of Lewis and Clark is evil. But your perception of Lewis and Clark is on the other end. So, well, maybe not all the way, like I see you shaking your head, well, no, because, you know why, I'll say to you, because you're a life giver. Because you got more common sense. Guys don't have it. They can say they do, and they want to imagine they do, but look what the world, when guys allow this to happen, guys are doing it. So how much common sense do guys have? This is what you women, life givers, got to come to a conclusion on, an understanding. You have allowed piss poor examples of guys to be up at bat for 2,000 years. And you know that all they do is strike out. But you just keep allowing the same thing to happen. You women have the power to stop it. You're the ones that are oppressed. Think of this. It takes power to oppress something, right? Yes, it takes a lot of power. But the one that's oppressing will never let you know or understand that you got more power than them. But you just can't find it right now because you don't have your council process. So woman's council process is what you got to work on, what you got to identify. Where is there a woman's council process in democracy? None, it doesn't take that into consideration. You know why? Because the religion that democracy is derived from tells you that everybody's created equal. You know what? Any man, any guy who says that is a lying piece of dog crap. Any guy that says to me, around me, that we're all created equal, I'll tell that guy that he's a lying piece of dog crap. Because if he claims that he's equal to his mother, he's a piece of crap. He deserves to be slapped down. Any guy who's gonna say, I'm equal to my mother, are you equal to your mother? Impossible. No guy could be equal to their mother. And so this is where women are corralled in democracy, but it didn't happen there, so you don't know. There's no solution for you there. It happened in religion. It stopped you there. We're all created equal. No, we're not. The first one is the first one. The second one is the second one. It's not equal to the first one. Male can never be equal to female. It's impossible, physically impossible. And think of this. These are the things that you're gonna fight. You have heard, you life givers have heard a very derogatory term about yourselves. When you go to the doctor has mentioned to you some point, or you've heard it in school somewhere, you've heard an authoritative person and a person in an authoritative position identify to you about your hormonal imbalance. Doctors say this to you, your hormonal imbalance. You know what that's based on? That's based on a male dominant medical industry. That when they started off, they looked at themselves, hey, this is how guys are. Because you know that whole picture you see like from hundreds of years ago, they're slicing open a person on the table there and they're looking. So they say, this is the way males are. And then they look at women, and women aren't that way. So you have a hormonal imbalance. Imagine that. The process that creates me, I refer to it then as a hormonal imbalance. Any person that you ever hear saying that to you, slap their face. If a guy says that to you, slap their face. If a woman doctor says this to you, say, what the hell's the matter with you? And slap their face. Because this is a derogation against our foundation. It's like chopping its root. You do not have a hormonal imbalance. We are the ones that have the hormonal imbalance. Let's just think of imbalance. What would it imply? Being imbalanced would imply that, well, you're kind of crazy, right? Oh, okay. Are you crazy? Are you out killing? Are you out waging war? Are you out oppressing? Hey, wait a minute. Do guys do that? Okay, so who's imbalanced here? Are the women imbalanced? It's the men that are imbalanced. So this is the whole thing, and it be addressed, whether you can make this association or not. It'll be addressed by you pursuing hemp. Because it will begin to clean the earth, and it will begin to clean your mind. And when your mind is clean, when it's clear, then you'll be able to see what your power is and how to focus it together. Not just you there where you are, but with her where she is and her, and you can be separated by oceans. And you can still stand strong in your life-giving force. Yes, you are the force of nature. And we, guys, have to come into order with you. This is what must be done. We're on a ticking time bomb here. You're floating on the iceberg that you don't know. It's like a polar bear who's the last polar bear. Do you think the last polar bear will know that they're the last polar bear? Yes, they will know. When you're the last tree, you're gonna know you're the last tree. Because mama's gonna let you know, because you grow from mama. And you'll be the most sacred thing on the planet. And so that polar bear will know they're the last one. Don't get there, don't let it get there. Hurry up. Hurry up. I need life givers to take that action. Every male needs life givers. Rise up, correct us. Rise up and correct us. The crazy males that have destroyed your world, it's your legacy. The crazy males have destroyed it. Stand up. Defend mama. Yeah, HempUnitiy. Okay, so that's it. Yeah, that's really way beyond. Okay, so we're just gonna close up now. Usually we would close with a song on the Zoom.
I'm ready to get the musician, but.
Okay, well, for us, with the Zooms, the meetings that we usually have, we close off with a song. So, I don't know if you've ever been to a meeting before where they close off with a song. That's what we're gonna do. The only thing is which one now. Okay, I know we're gonna do the one that we were supposed to do the other day. We just didn't get the chance to. guns on hold on the HempUnitiy agenda. Ayuki out again, yeti sort of gun on their own other heads, and they're gonna go here to the power quick. Down there we are on heads, so that's a stance and they can way. Down there we are on heads. I don't got it up. A way want to go to the yonder, so the corner stana, or the wheel. Gary, what he shoots it on. Because it's not down that way, Guyanda one and they're gonna come here. So it has come the time now for us to close this council on the HempUnitiy agenda of the healing of our Mother Earth. And so we give thanks to our ancestors that carried a good mind, and we ask them to help us to return our mothers back to their natural seat of authority within all of our nations so they can manage all of our people properly once again. We ask them to help us to return every wampum within the great law of peace back to the hearts and minds of the people, to return our mothers back to the love, to the big love, where we can all be in that big love, where there won't be anyone who is going to be broken down and sad or sorry for themselves. And in the world, there is never to be a homeless woman. This is not supposed to be. It is a example of the piss poor examples of guys in this world that allow women to be destitute and homeless on the streets. Hemp will fix that. Hemp will address that. Hemp will build homes for the life givers. There should be no life giver on earth that is homeless, and it should not be your responsibility to wonder or to think or to provide your home, because you are the life giver. You provide for us. We're supposed to provide back for you. Let's get this thing all back in order and put the scale back the way it's supposed to be, where we're balanced. And where we're balanced, our mothers are the authority. That's our law. That's what Kanyangahaga is. That's what Five Nations is. And Kanyangahaga, Ganasue, Uwe are always on the left. So we ask our ancestors to help us, guide us through all of this, and we say, now go. We ask that we identify that we have nothing to do with bad. We push it away on the 3 levels of existence. Air to solid, air to solid, air to solid. Tony, I want again, y'all go, mercy, beaucoup. Hope to see you all in the HempUnitiy Army.
Mhm.
Oh.
Yeah.